Hello, wonderful people of the internet. Welcome back to another episode of Simuleos. So, right, let's go ahead and update everyone. Then we're going to hop into the bulk of today's stream, which will be primarily working on the Summer of Math Exposition judging, for which we'll be using Gavel, which was mentioned by Nick actually in chat. So Nick, Sir Komodo, hey, thank you guys so much for coming in, and I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Let me go ahead and drop down the music on my end a little bit. Right. So let's get started a little bit. You know, I spend a lot of time thinking about like what type of content I should be making on Twitch and on YouTube and all this kind of stuff, right? I spend probably too much time thinking about that. And you know, the more I think about it, the more I've been realizing that, you know, especially after this last video on approximate counting, might want to update offline message timestamps. Offline message timestamps. What do you mean by that? Sorry. Wait. Yeah, actually, I don't know what you mean by that. Sorry. But, right. So, I've been giving a lot of thought to, oh, is this math mode? Ah, sugoi. Anyway, they changed their LPP on me. So now there's like a bunch of weird things that I don't actually know how they work. But, you know, it is what it is. Hey, C252, how are you? Okay, so, like I'm saying, the offline picture banner has super early JST times. Oh, right, yeah, I haven't been able to figure out how to fix that yet. Or rather, I haven't fixed that yet because I haven't had consistent stream times. So probably what I should do is just say it's offline now. But also, Twitch kind of changed the way that it works on the background such that people, I don't think, see that banner anymore. Maybe they do. But you're right, I should definitely change that. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, because otherwise I just keep forgetting about it. Obviously, I just haven't been paying attention to it. Okay, so I've been giving a lot of thought to what types of videos I want to make on YouTube, right? And so at the... okay, let's go back to actually let's start. So last Wednesday was my last stream in a while for the past few days, and the reason being that on Thursday we had to... how do we put this? We had to go down to Naha and do a bunch of just auxiliary stuff for the move, right? Then on Friday, we had to fly to Tokyo. And so I flew to Tokyo in the morning. So we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning so we could make the flight. And then we flew to Tokyo, and then we submitted all the visa paperwork and everything to the Spanish embassy. And then essentially we flew back that evening. So it was basically just a very long day. And we were walking all around Tokyo. It's just a lot of work. So on Saturday, I didn't do very much streaming because I was working on updating Gavel. Because I just had to update the Gavel to get it to work. And so now we have a decently working system with Gavel, but I want to make it a little bit better, and that's what the goal of today's stream is. Let's see, what do we have here? I'm pretty good. How are you doing? I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. Is your wife feeling better? I remember you were saying she was sick a little bit ago. She was only sick because of the COVID vaccine. So the vaccine really took her out. She was, had a fever and everything for the next day or two. But now she's fine. Everything's doing well. She's currently in Osaka. Which is where she's from. Helping her dad out after back surgery and stuff like this. So she's not around right now. The reason today is a late stream is because, so here's what happens. Every time you leave Okinawa, in order to get back into the Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology, you have to basically give them 3 negative PCR tests, right? So I gave them my first PCR test today, which will hopefully be negative, and then I have to give them another one on Wednesday. Now, as long as the test from today is negative, it's fine. I can come in tomorrow. But if the test is positive, then I'm just obviously I've got COVID and I'm not going to be able to come in. So basically I have to do 3 tests, because I just came back from Tokyo, but my wife is going to be coming back from from Osaka, on Saturday or Friday or something. I don't remember, this weekend. And when she comes back, I also have to take a bunch of PCR tests. So that means I have to take like 6 PCR tests back to back. And then if we go back up to Tokyo to get the next, to receive the visas after we submitted the paperwork last Friday, then I'm going to have to take 9 PCR tests. Like, I literally have to take a PCR test every other day. It's insane. My dad got back surgery a couple years ago. It was a little rough. I remember having to stay home from school to help him out. Yeah, so that's exactly why my wife is up in Osaka. There's just, he's actually in the hospital right now for 2 weeks, and it's just, she's there to help out wherever she can. So obviously I told her, it doesn't matter. I know we have a move in a few weeks, but just do it. It's worth doing. Your nose will love it. Oh, actually, so these PCR tests are spit tests. So you just kind of have to spit into a bottle or whatever before you've eaten any food that day. So that's how it is. I only took like 1 or 2 of the nasal PCR tests, actually. I never really took too many of them. I don't know why. I just didn't have to take any PCR tests in the US. All the PCR tests I've had to take are because of my trip to Japan, actually. Oops, sorry about that. I just hit a bunch of different stuff. Okay. So, what are we doing today? Let's go ahead and finish up the discussion. I'm sorry, I'm so scattered today. I'm like all over the place, but here's what we're going to do. Let's start with a brief discussion about YouTube, then we're going to hop into the Gavel stuff. Okay. Talk. Okay, I'm just going to have to write it down. So we're going to start with talking. Talking. 1 second. Can I do this really quick? Is this going to work? If I move this over here, and then move that over there, and move that over there. Is that going to help? Maybe. Okay, good. I just didn't have enough room to type because of where the microphone is situated. I've never taken a COVID test. Yeah, I don't know. So we're going to talk a bit. Then we're going to do Gavel work, which is what we're going to be using for the Summer of Math exposition. And then hopefully we can talk about GPUs after the fact. Now, I'm going to be honest, most of today will probably be the Gavel work. The GPU stuff is not too heavy. So I don't think we're going to really have to do too much with that, but this is kind of the overall goal for today. So for the talking bit, the things I want to talk about first are YouTube, as always. I am so tired. This is not a good stream. That's okay. YouTube. Okay. So, hey, Detox Mango, how are you? Okay. So we're going to start at the very start, talking a bit about the YouTube content. So what I've been realizing recently, especially after I uploaded the last video, which was on approximate counting, is that, quite frankly, we've got a weird disconnect between YouTube. It's a very... Wait. Don't say what again. Don't say that again. I can do that. I'm a mod. Oh, say that it's not a very good stream. I'm very tired today. That's all. Okay, so for YouTube, here's what I wanted to say. Right now we have a disconnect with my YouTube audience and the Twitch audience and the people who are on the algorithm archive and all that kind of stuff. It was never more evident than when I put up the video on approximate counting. There, pretty much everyone, well, not everyone, but there were a few people on the approximate counting video that told me that it was their favorite video that I'd ever made. And a lot of those people were from Twitch. A lot of those people were people who are actively contributing to the algorithm archive. However, there was a bit of a discussion in the comment section from a lot of people who do not actively contribute, basically my YouTube audience. And these people did not like the video at all. They were cursing me out. They said that, you know, I didn't explain it properly or all this kind of stuff, right? And so I think the big problem here is that a lot of people who are watching the video thought that the video was supposed to be teaching the algorithm, or they thought the video was supposed to be teaching them how to count to infinity on their fingers. I'm not really sure. But they were kind of seeing it as an educational video. And the thing is, it wasn't really meant as an educational video. It was meant as a way to inspire people to learn the topic and then give people access to the algorithm archive so they could learn the topic better. And so I think that is where the videos are failing. They're not necessarily meant to educate anybody. They're meant to inspire people to learn things, right? And so right now on YouTube, that's not what my channel is doing. Right now my channel is squarely in the educational space when it should be science and tech, or maybe even lifestyle. I'm not really sure. Let's go and answer some questions here. So is there no machine learning in your archive? Not right now. Like C250 was saying, the archive is mostly about more obscure algorithms with poor learning material, since the goal of having every algorithm is a little too grand. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. However, we will be using machine learning in an upcoming project. So I'm thinking that maybe we should have at least some sort of like reinforcement learning or something like that in the algorithm archive soon. But let's talk about that now. So here's what I wanted your guys' opinion on. There are two basic methods that we can go here. The first method is more uploads. Okay, so here's what more uploads will do. What more uploads will do is it means that when I put out a video that is less educational and more inspirational, you could say, like that's the goal of the video, like for example with the approximate counting algorithm, people will kind of be watching the videos not because they're interested in the content of the video, but because they're interested in my thoughts and perspectives on that content, right? So more uploads changes of content on YouTube to be more personality driven, right? Which I think is fine. And I'm not really sure if that's the right way to go, but I think it's probably fine. Do you know how prediction models based on string invariance works? If yes, can you dumb it down for me? I don't know that, so unfortunately I can't dumb it down for you. The other option is here, and is better uploads. And let me explain. Okay, so what I was thinking was, I want to publish a bunch of new videos, but I also want to publish a bunch of research papers. So I was thinking, why don't we just upload a video every time there's something significantly novel that we've done? So don't publish any videos on like algorithm archive chapters or just like random things that we did. Instead, just upload videos when we've done something fundamentally new that people haven't done before. So for example, with the current research thrust, we could do a video on the fastest the fastest fractal decompression method. Method. There would be another one after that, which would be on, I guess I'd call it every frame in this video is a fractal. Where basically we talk about fractal compression and how we have a new fractal compression method that basically allows for us to like create an entire video with fractals. And then the third would be something like, and the third would be that I kind of want it to be, what was the last one? So there's actually another one on top of this that is fastest fractal decompression method. Every frame is a fractal. Then we have, like for example, I don't know what to call it, but fractal physics, where we solve physical equations like PDEs by using fractal compression and stuff like that. Right now, the goal is what I said just a second ago with the YouTube channel, to answer Nick's comment. I don't want it to be an educational channel. In fact, you could argue the videos have never meant to be I've never meant for the videos to be educational on my channel. I've always meant for them to be inspiring, to get people to learn more. Like, for example, with the eigenvector video, I didn't want people to learn necessarily about eigenvectors. I wanted people to be inspired to learn more about the topic. Same with determinants, same with like all the algorithm archive content. The goal is just to get people to dig into things more. And so right now I kind of want, I'm not really sure what I want. But what I'm realizing is the current YouTube channel does not serve that purpose. In fact, I think it does the actual opposite here. I think people will watch the video and then be drastically uninspired to learn. Hey, Warrior Giggles, how are you? So the solution here, the videos are sort of meant to be ads for the algorithm archive or just learning generally. Right, so that's the thing. In a sense, the current videos are ads for the algorithm archive, right? They're definitely not meant to be learning generally. And that's the thing, right? Like, I don't want them to be that. It seems like a lot of places where applications should be the focus and backed up with the algorithms. Yeah, so that's the other thing too. Like, you know, like I said before, I did just start the company Laos Labs with the clear intent of doing research in an open way, right? And so what I really want here is to figure out a way to express to people why research is so cool and why you should be interested in doing research. Not necessarily my research, but just research in general is a really cool thing. And so, for example, with every frame as a fractal, I can literally we can do this decompression method where we take our video camera here, whatever, we get an image from the video camera, we turn it into a fractal, and then we turn this into an image. And we can make every single frame in a video literally a fractal compressed image, right? Let's see. I just got here a few seconds ago, but better is better than more if that's the debate. Yeah, so let me explain the differences here. So I need to move just a second. I hope I don't hit the microphone. I just, being on the floor has its advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so let's talk about it. So here's the two different strategies that I'm thinking. So journal, new page before. When I say, okay, I'm not saying more bad videos. I'm saying more videos of a different type, right? And so the goal here is to, I think, right, so let's say we change our focus to be more research-oriented. Okay, so that's what we want. We want to explain to people, first of all, why research is cool. Second of all, why my research is cool. And third of all, why you should be engaged in this and why, like, this is something that you should want to watch, right? Have you thought about trying to partner with universities? Yeah, I have. So as far as partnering with universities and stuff, I am currently looking at some grants to apply with different people at just different universities. I don't want to say the names right now because the project could fall through, but I do have different grants lined up with different universities and stuff as a funding model to work with, right? So I do want the videos to be more research-oriented, which is why I think there's two ways to go. And the first is, you know, like I said before, more videos, but also just more vlog style content, right? So, you know, every single day, you know, if you're doing research, you come across problems that are difficult to solve, right? Like, how do you do this? What is this? How do you do that? Like, all these questions come up all the time. And you get all these, like, what if questions, like, what if this happened? What if that happened? And so, in a sense, I could literally put out a video almost every day on a new problem that we solved that day, right? And it's like, here's what we did today. Here's what we did today. This is why this is interesting. Here's another interesting problem. Just a series of interesting problems. And then when we put out the big videos, like, you know, every frame in this video is a fractal or something like this. If we put out a big video, we have all these other videos that we can call upon. So we don't really have to discuss things in depth. We can just say, hey, if you want more information on this topic, we covered it in that video. If you want more on this, we covered it there. So we can just link back to all the old content, right? And in this way, we just put out more videos of a similar style to the approximate counting algorithm, because that one didn't really take too much time to make. Honestly, I made that in an afternoon. It was all of the prep work and all the work for the algorithm archive that took a lot of time. So if we were to make videos of that type, and I could do that pretty much every day. That's not, I mean, it would take like 4 hours a day, but, you know, that would be my job at that point, and I wouldn't mind doing that, right? The other thing is to do more, I guess I'm going to say Mark Rober style, right? And so what Mark Rober does is he puts out one video every every month or so, right? But each video is significantly new, right? The only thing I'll say about the approximate counting is that maybe you could have gone a little slower. Yeah, I hate going slower though. So the problem, okay, here's my problem with going slower on YouTube, right? Or going slower in general. Going slow loses just as many people as going fast, right? And so for me, I really needed people to go fast. I needed people to talk about things at in significant depth, right? And the problem is that most people, specifically when they're trying to teach something new, those people tend to go slow. And if you go slow, I'm going to be lost, right? I need someone to give me the jargon, to give me the difficult things, so that I can understand the full scope of the project and then go in and look at the specific things I didn't understand later. And so it's a different learning style. And I mean, this is like why, for example, 3 blue, 1 brown, and reducible. My current methods are incompatible with these types of videos because they do go slow. They kind of explain everything, but also it makes it very difficult for me to understand what they're trying to say because of the pacing of the video, right? So I don't know. Like, I do agree that probably there would have been a way for me to go slower. I could have, for example, said one particular phrase, which would have made it easier to understand. But like, I don't know. I feel like the danger of vlog style content is they could become less meaningful in the sense that not every step towards finding a solution or finding a problem is exciting enough to be a video, and so many may lose interest and not pay attention to the results of this work, which is undoubtedly awesome. These seem a bit like two different channels. Yeah, exactly. Sounds like 2 channels, right? I know I've said this before, but I think you should do purely what you enjoy the most and just see what happens, like the way it is right now. Yeah. So the problem is, I don't know. The problem is right now, I can't get into footing. Like this year, I have not been able to get my footing back. So the way I have it right now is I have it set so we have small videos, right? So here's how it is right now. We have the algorithm archive, right? And we have small videos, right? So the current research thrust, let's say I do the fastest fractal, right? This combines a bunch of different small videos together and a bunch of different algorithm archive articles that I can add together. So add together iterative function systems, fractal flames, Barnsley ferns, I'll put down there. Then it also encompasses the approximate counting algorithm and affine transformations, right? And so all of these guys come together for the fastest fractal decompression method, right? And so the reason we've done all these small videos is so that I can actually move at an appropriate pace for the fastest fractal video, right? So the point is that we build up all these small things so that I can say, hey, here's the fastest fractal decompression method. I'm going to say a bunch of things. I'm going to be like, this is an iterative function system. In the video, I'm going to have to say that. But I can then link back to all of the previous material that we have on the topic, such that when we do publish this video, it is a full discussion that can happen in 5 minutes, right? I mean, that's why research papers are so awesome. Like, it's so amazing in my opinion, because the point of the research paper isn't to give you a full description of the research topic, right? It's to give you like one little piece of the literature that fits into a larger whole. And like, that is, in my opinion, how I learn best. She's giving me like individual snippets that kind of work together. Plus, this gives us additional places to work off of for when we start talking about, other things on top of that. So, I don't know. I think... So what I was thinking was the following. So, for example, the fractal flame video. We don't have the fractal flame video just yet. And we don't... Yeah, so the fractal flame video doesn't exist. So what if this was solely on the algorithm archive, right? Instead of being on YouTube. And we just... only publish this video next, right? So we skip the videos entirely because, they aren't being very well received anyway. And then we just say, well, first of all, they're not being very well received. And second of all, they're kind of a pain to make. And then we just focus on the big thing. We're like, hey, here's the fastest fractal decompression method. Here is, every frame in this video is a fractal. Here's, all this kind of stuff. And we just say, skip it, skip all of the little videos. And just say, all that is available on the algorithm archive if you want to learn more. Also, I'll have a paper available for this particular topic as well. And then I can just focus on doing the actual research instead of focusing on getting the videos out. Let's see. Because that's why we have such an awesome community. Yeah, I think so as well, at least as far as I can tell. Right, but you don't want to teach it, right? It's not like it's possible to just put links in the doobly-doo to the algorithm archive. It is not possible to just put links in the... Wait, what do you mean it's not possible? Obviously it's a shout out in the video as well. I think skipping the little vids is a good choice, as it's still got the cool part. Right, that's what I think as well. I think what's happening is I'm publishing these small videos here, right, that people aren't too thrilled about. So then when they see another video from Laos OS, they're like, I don't really want to click on that video, because they assume it's going to be of a similar style to the videos that I've put out before, which are just kind of these small videos that don't really have so much of a purpose when, you know, when separated, right? But if I just put out this guy and I'm like, bam, here's something new, here's something people have never done before, and I just make the claim that every single video on my channel will be something people haven't seen before, and that is the goal of the channel, to make it fundamentally new, then I think that will mean that people are more likely to click. People are more likely to keep watching, because they're like, hey, I know at least when this person puts out a video, it's going to be something I haven't seen before. Maybe it's a bit over my head, but I know it's going to be new, right? As opposed to all this stuff, which it's interesting, but it's not new. The closest new thing was the approximate counting algorithm. And don't get me wrong, we did a lot of new things in that video. I didn't really describe it on Twitch because I was busy with life stuff, but honestly, you know, all of the discussions about, you know, how to actually use the approximate algorithm in practice and all that kind of stuff that were in the algorithm archive, that was all new. It wasn't a part of the algorithm to begin with. I think then you'll be relying too much on impressions of existing viewers and subscriber feed. Yeah, so I'm currently, that's also the other problem with my YouTube channel right now. My current subscriber feeds, my subs don't watch. They don't watch. And the way I know this is because we have this metric of click-through rate, which is basically if you're showing my video, how likely are you to click on this video over time, right? And as it's shown only to my subs, which is basically in this region in here, my click-through rate's actually kind of poor. But then after it goes past my subs, it actually increases, usually. Oh, so, right, you could say I need more clickbait, but actually, this is my argument here. Like, I know a lot of people watch. I'm sorry, that's not what I meant. My meant is that, on average, my subs don't watch. Which is kind of a true statement. Like this thing here, where the click-through rate increases once my subs no longer see my video, that's generally the trend. Like once it's outside of my own subscriber bubble, once people are no longer subscribed to me, then they tend to click, and that's a big problem. And that's, I think, this exact problem here, where they've seen a video from me and they just aren't willing to watch the next one because they're like, I've seen this guy's content. I know it's not worth watching, right? And so I think that's kind of what I'm being hit with right now, because all of these videos take a super long time for me to make, like a really, really long time for me to make. Just because, you know, it takes a while. Like the approximate counting didn't take too long, but Barnsley-Fern, iterative function systems, affine transformations, man, this one, just making the video took me like 3 weeks, doing nothing but video editing. So I always knew I was below average. I'm sorry. That wasn't what I meant. So the solutions are, again, you can do the Mark Rober style, or you could do the Casey Neistat style, right? Where the Casey Neistat style is kind of like, hey, don't talk so much about the actual education. Like, don't talk so much about the actual educational bits on your channel. Make it kind of like a daily vlog. Be like, hey, here's an interesting video. Here's what we're doing today. And just kind of do a bunch of small things, right? Like kind of, like you said, it's going to be hard to do a vlog that's like all research topics, but I think I think the issue here is that I wouldn't necessarily do all research topics. It's like maybe some days it's just like a lifestyle thing. It's like, hey, today we did this is how we did it, right? Subs not watching is potentially because the videos are too far apart in topic from each other. So you aren't getting an audience, just some sort of base subscriber with organic traffic for that video. That could be true as well, right? I think that's true because, you know, there's like a month between uploads. And so, yeah. What could also be true is that they just forgot who I was, because it was like a year and a half where I didn't upload anything. And most of my subs are from before that year and a half period. So most people probably don't even know who my channel is anymore. And so when they see a video, they're like, specifically themed like my videos are themed. They look like 3 blue 1 brown videos, and they click on it and they realize that isn't 3 blue 1 brown. It's, I don't know, it's a bit weird. And I think if they're in the algorithm archive, it should be fine to reference. I agree with that statement. I think actually these videos of like the Barnsley-Fern and iterative function systems and stuff like that, you know, I don't really know what purpose they serve at this point in time. I think they're good like as ads for the algorithm archive, but I think I agree with what a lot of people have been saying in that I don't think they alone are good educational tools. They're good for people like me, but if I'm honest, I wouldn't click on those videos either. I don't mean to sound weird, but however small the number is the people are subbed and don't watch are the ones who, however small the number is, the people are subbed and do watch are the ones who also contribute to the archive and hang out in the Discord and are all wonderful members of the community. Right. No, I agree. 100% agree. Just for the record, I do realize I'm being a bit down and I'm kind of like saying, oh, you know, my subs don't watch, but you guys are right. I'm being a bit, what I'm trying to do is get back to the numbers that we had in 2018. So in 2018, we had a huge, vibrant community of people who were like willing to contribute to the algorithm archive. It was a great year, honestly. But then I had to do my thesis, and then I started working at MIT, and I just wasn't able to keep up. And because of that, the community kind of died in a way. And it's not necessarily all my fault, but you know, it's like if you have a game that's not being developed, you don't really play the game anymore. No. I think I understand what you're saying. My point is, what I'm trying to do is get more people engaged. And I have the feeling that my current content style is not getting people engaged. And that's why I talk about it so much. I'm trying to find a way to get more people involved. And I just, I don't know. You know, it's not possible for me to make like a small video. Well, I could, I don't know. I think applying algorithms is more interesting than talking about a specific algorithm. Yeah, so the big reason I wanted these small videos is so that when I do the big video, when I talk about this is a really, really cool thing that we did that no one else has ever done before, I don't have to go into too much depth about everything, right? Like I can be like, hey, we used iterative function systems. Here's briefly how they work, but if you want more information, go here. You know, so I could just put those little like information cards up. Like that was the whole point. I find the opposite to be true. See, that's the other problem, right? Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what the actual strategy is here. Because there's a bunch of different strategies we could do. So basically I'm doing the age-old conundrum of, should I do more frequent uploads or should I do try to make the uploads bigger? So let's talk about the next project, journal new page before. So like I said before, you know, I basically have, you know, one big video that I want to publish, which is every frame is a fractal. Like that's one big video I want to put out. The small blurb with a 5-second of how they work is just enough for me. I think so as well, because I think, again, obviously the information is there. Obviously it's in the algorithm archive, people can find it, and I did everything I can to make it as accessible as possible. And clearly the bulk of the work is in the algorithm archive. It's in writing the papers and all that kind of stuff. But for every frame is a fractal, which is a video I want to make where every single frame in the video is itself a fractally compressed image or something like that. There's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about here, like iterative function systems, you know, Barnsley-Fern. 1 second. We need to talk about fractal flames. We need to talk about counting. We need to talk about BFS via counting. Right. We have a bunch of other things. For example, we have to talk about other people's methods, high performance iterative function systems, which means we have to talk about parallelism and GPUs. 1 second. Let's see, what else do we have here? My point is, like, there's a huge number of things that we need to talk about for this video, right? We'd have to talk about error terms, which is itself a very difficult thing to figure out. The point is, we've got a huge list of things, but, you know, the video itself, like, I don't know. I think you should just do what you like doing most and you have fun doing. Yeah, I think, yeah. Which, so I think you're right, CT52, I think you're right. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to change the YouTube content just to see what happens. If I just try to make more bigger uploads, just, this is what we're doing now. I just want to try to do the thing. Like, I really want to be able to make the claim that every video is new. Like, I want to start every video with a topic. I kind of want to start every video with a phrase, here's something you've never seen before. Or something like that. It's just like, here's something you've never seen before. Every single frame in this video is itself a fractal, and then it's just like, I think that'd be a really cool thing. It's just like, just guaranteeing that everything on the channel is novel, I think is really cool. And so, for every frame is a fractal, I could, I need to mention iterative function systems, Barnsley, Fern, and stuff like that. But I could, for example, skip the fractal flame. We don't really need to know so much about that. I don't need to talk so much about counting. Because, people don't need to know the actual implementation of the way in which we did things. I don't need to talk about this. I don't need to talk about that. I don't need to talk about that. I don't need to talk about that. I could literally just have the discussion be around iterative function systems, Barnsley, and then fractal compression. And this keeps it at a very surface level where people can, like, pretty much anyone could understand. And then I can say, but there's like 10 other topics that I didn't talk about, including a research paper on this very topic. If you need more information, go there. And I think maybe that's the way to do it. This would mean, what this strategy means is, one, more algorithm archive work. This is my, okay, I use this notation a lot, but I don't think I've ever explained what it means. So an up arrow means more. An up arrow with a little dash on top, I usually mean like as much as possible. Like, it increases something as high as possible. And so more algorithm archive work. I think that's a big advantage. More interesting videos. And yeah, we just do it. A blog post accompanying the video may be helpful for meshing your video with your documentation wants. Yeah, so my goal, and I know this is kind of a lofty goal here, my goal and my hope was that for a lot of the videos, we could actually have an accompanying paper to go along with it, which I think would be, really, really cool if we could do that. Yeah, that would be amazing if we could. The other interesting point here is that, there's some videos that, for example, might not have, an interesting, like, it might not have like an interesting like research application, but I think could just be interesting for other reasons, So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, I just want to do new cool things, that's what I want to do. So, and I just want people to, I don't know, like, this is the whole point of Laos Labs, right? The hope is that we get a bunch of people involved, and, well, maybe not a bunch of people initially. Right now it's just me, but we get people involved, and we just start doing research in as open a way as possible, and really just, I don't know, like, make it happen, instead of worrying about making stuff, just make cool stuff, and then make a video after the cool thing is made. Anyway, that was a long discussion. But my point is, at the start of this week, I was thinking maybe I should just do daily uploads. Or on Friday, when I left Tokyo, I was like, maybe I should just do daily uploads. I have an idea of a bunch of uploads that I could make that I think people would really like. But over the weekend, I thought about it a lot, and I'm like, no. I don't want to, I want the videos to be interesting. I want it to be, I want every video to be the best chance at getting people interested in this topic, right? And if I spend all my time talking about fractal error methods and all this kind of stuff, like, sure, it's interesting to me, and it's probably interesting to a lot of people, but it's not going to be generally interesting. It's not going to be interesting to everybody. Whereas, kind of keeping the YouTube channel more on the surface level, but really showing that there's so much depth here that we went into on other platforms, I think is a way forward. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll give it a shot. I'm going to give it a few months trying this strategy. If it doesn't work, screw it. We'll try something else afterwards. The fact of the matter is, like C252 was saying, we got a bunch of really cool, really smart people on this community that really know what they're doing, and I just want to cultivate that. I want to get more people involved that are just like, Like, there were some people who, when they entered the community a long time ago, they knew nothing about programming. And then through working with the algorithm archive, they learned, like, C# or they learned whatever language it was that they were focusing on. And they went from basically knowing nothing to being like awesome superstar developers, and able to do so much stuff. It was insane. Like, being better than I was, honestly. And I don't know, it's just kind of insane. Something absurd I've always wanted to look into is optimization to crazy levels of build pipelines and queue reduction with limited and diverse compute resources. I have no idea the algorithms to look at for it, but I want to research it after school. Actually, optimization to crazy levels of build pipelines. So what do you mean by build pipelines? So there is something that I think would be significantly novel that I would love. Like, it's a YouTube video in and of itself, and like, benchmarking every language. Right. So it's something that we can do with the algorithm archive. Well, not every language, like in quotes, not in stars. Because every language that is available in the algorithm archive, right? They're all basically doing the same code. And so if we could have some sort of build pipeline that allows for us to do the active testing, we could at the same time get simple performance benchmarks of each of those different languages, right? And as long as it's run on the same hardware, we could, in principle, have a framework that allows for us to get benchmarks of all the same code running the same operations. Now, look, you can obviously make the claim that, like, some of the languages, for example, Python, probably should be using NumPy for some of the implementations or something like that. And so we can make the claim that, these aren't perfect benchmarks, as, sometimes we're not loading the appropriate library or something like that. But I really do think having, like, benchmarks of every programming language put together, I think that's just really cool. And that's an idea that I really, like, it'd be amazing if we could do that. So I don't know what kind of build pipelines you're talking about, but if you could do some of that, and there's something like that you could see useful with the algorithm archive, I think that'd be really cool if we could just start doing that, like, that would be amazing. Now, is there a paper in this? I'm not sure. So I'm not sure what the incentive would be for you to work on that. But if there is a paper involved and you're like, hey, this is super cool, let's do it. Let's do it. Build pipelines are made of stages. Each step can or cannot spawn more stages. You never know when one is triggered. Some of them need to run on Mac, Windows, Linux. Some can run on more than one. Optimize the time to finish. Yeah, see, that's actually super cool. There must be something in there that's publishable, right? Like, it has to be. And even if it's not publishable, it's an interesting project. The point is, what I want to do with Laos Labs is be like, look, this is the stuff that we're working with. And if you find any of it interesting, just contact me and let's do a project together. Like, let's work together, make this happen. I was one of those people who could barely program. Look, I mean, I don't know, it's just amazing. Whenever I look at where people are now, like, and where they were when they started, it's just amazing. Build pipelines have monetary implications. Yeah. If there's something that you can do with the algorithm archive, I'm willing to fund it. Like, it's not like I'm poor, and I do get money from Patreon, and I get money from, YouTube and Twitch and stuff. I have enough money to, I'm making some money, that, if it goes into making the algorithm archive better, I'm definitely willing to spend that money, But also, like, the point of opening up Laos Labs is so I can apply for grants and stuff like this. So my hope was put a video out that's significantly novel, that people have never seen before, and say, hey, this is the first video of Laos Labs, not Laos OS. What I want you to do is, if you have an interesting research project, contact me and we'll do it. That's what I want to say. Just like, if you've got an interesting research project that has to do with computational science and you think you could use my expertise or the expertise of anyone in our community, just contact us, because, that's the point. Sorry, lots of big companies would pay for better versions of this. Oh, yeah, that's also fair. I don't know. I don't have enough money to pay for employees, but that's kind of the exact type of stuff that I'd like to work on. These little things that, not little things, but these things that, like, people are significantly interested in, have some sort of impact, and, could help other people in some way, shape, or form, whether it be companies or whether it be, I don't know, like, but that's exactly what I want. I want people to come in, have a passion project, work on the passion project, and then it might just be a short-term gig, but like, you know, they work as long as they have the passion to do a project. It's like, that's what we're doing. And then, you know, kind of move on their way. It's like a postdoc setup in a way. Anyway, that's a lot of rambling. Let's talk about what's coming up next. So like I said before, I think we're moving out of the talking phase for today. So let's just go ahead and mark this in red. And let's move on to the next bit. I would be careful about bringing money into it too early, though, just so people don't have the right motivations. Yeah, I do agree with that to some extent. It depends, right? Obviously, it depends on the project. Not that there is anything wrong with being motivated by money. Right, I understand where you're getting at. It's kind of like, you know, for the Summer of Math exposition, this is a great segue, we initially didn't have the idea of having any type of monetary investment, right? But then Brilliant.org came in and sponsored the event. So now they gave us $5,000 and we said, okay, we're going to give $1,000 to the top 5 entrants of the Summer of Math exposition. I don't know how many people decided that they wanted to apply because of the money, but I feel like it motivated some people, and I'm kind of split on that. It's like, you know, should you be motivated by money? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's fine. I mean, if you're producing good work, who cares what your motivations are? I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, so let's talk about the next thing. So like I just said, I'm working on this thing called the Summer of Math Exposition 1. So the Summer of Math Exposition, also called Someone. Oh, by the way, is that VicFred? Yeah, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Feel free to talk about your stream. You don't have to, obviously, no pressure. But I hope everything's going okay, and thanks for the raid. We're actually just moving on to the next topic for today, which is talking about the actual web dev, right? So I said the stream title is PhD Tries Web Dev. That's exactly what we're doing right now. So for the Summer of Math exposition, we have about 1,000 entrants. Let me put this in a different color so it's not the same as the red up there. We have about 1,000 entrants right now. The official deadline is in like 4 or 5 hours, but you know, we're gonna extend it just a little bit, just until basically, you know, Grant wakes up in the morning. And so we're expecting we're gonna have maybe, I don't know, maybe 1,200 applications or something like that total, right? Now, what we're looking for is kind of the best piece of mathematical exposition, which is super vague and super hard to do. And it's impossible for us to look at, you know, 1,200 applications individually. So what we need to do is find a way to do some sort of peer review. So, you know, initially I was trying to create the system to do that. But then Nick, who I may or may not still be in chat, but definitely was in chat a few minutes ago, told us that we should use Gavel. Now, I picked around with Gavel, played with it a bit. And I do have a working build on my system, which I can show off. I think I can show off now. But it's essentially a way to do pairwise interactions. However, Grant was particularly keen on giving people five entries at once. So 5 entries at once, one time. Right. Which is not how it works. Right now, it just works one after another, right? And so to basically allow for us to do 5 entries at once, we've got to do a bunch of changes to the code. So one change I've already made to the code base is making it so people who have the same name, like, so for example, if you're Judge X, you cannot grade, you know, Project X, right? You can't grade your own project, right? So I found a way to disable that pretty easily. And I think I have a way to convert the 5 entries at once into pairwise interactions, which are necessary for the underlying algorithm. Like, I know how to do that theoretically, but I have absolutely no idea how to put it into code. So I'm going to kind of bang my head against it for the next 2 or 3 hours. And if we can't do it, I'm just going to tell Grant, like, hey, look, we have a working system. I wasn't able to get the 5 entries at once, but we're able to do one at a time, which is still going to work just fine. So let me check also my email really quick. Okay, because the guy who made the app was actually responding, and so I was hoping that they had sent me a response, but they did not. That's totally fine. It's not a big deal. Let me see here. Come on. Man, so a while ago, I had to apply for U.S. healthcare. And when I applied for US Healthcare, I got a bunch of spam email. And since then, I've been getting so much spam email in my inbox. It's insane. And I don't know what to do about it. I've genuinely thought about just switching emails because it's just such a huge pain. So I should probably get the domain Laos Labs. I should probably do that. Okay, so after we talk about the summer math exposition in this thing, then we'll talk about GPUs, because I've got to teach a class on GPUs tomorrow. But truth be told, I've done this class so many times, I don't think it's going to be too much preparation. It's just that I have to make sure that, you know, I've done it and that it's not just sitting there. Oh, 1 second. Let me move the mic. I had to get some water. Sorry. Okay, let me get some water, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, man. I have a huge drinking problem. Water just went everywhere. Okay, let's go back over here. Also, guys, I just have to apologize. I'm having a really hard time, like, just forming coherent sentences today. Doing the best I can, but, like, I'm obviously struggling a bit. So I do apologize if I say anything that's a bit, oh, I don't know, that's a bit weird, you know? Let's see. Where was I? Let me go ahead and go to my side screen again. Should be that one. Perfect. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start up the server. I got to be honest. I have... Thanks, Nick. For some reason, they have a weird development pipeline in Gavel. So I'm going to CD into projects Gavel over here. I don't know how I got there. Back into Gavel. And now I'm just going to do Vagrant up. Okay. And over here, we're going to CD into projects Gavel over here. And then I think I need to CD in one more directory, Gavel there. So what Vagrant does is it creates a virtual machine that you can work off of. And then what they do is not only do they create a virtual machine, they then create a separate Python environment to run everything in once you're in the virtual machine. So Vagrant SSH. Oh, let me do it over here. Vagrant SSH. And now we're going to do CD run source to open up the environment. And then after that, we're just going to run this. Debug equals true Python. And this opens up the server. So let's go over here and let's just do open localhost 5000. Look, obviously I'm going to change everything, but for now we're just going to log in as an admin so you can kind of see what everything looks like. That should do it. Okay, obviously, like, this is the local server, so don't, like, you can't just log into this. Okay, so here's how it kind of works. We have a bunch of different people. Names, locations, descriptions. So for us, the name is going to be their email address. The location is going to be the location is going to be the 1 second. I think it's the link, but it might also be, yeah, so the location should be the link, and then the description should be the description should be the like who they were supposed to be making this math exposition for, like high schoolers, undergraduates, that type of thing. So let's just go to one of these random people down here, click here. So here's a judge interface. Welcome to Gavel. And then just do continue. Okay, so here's how it currently works. We have, you know, we're going to have test 4. The audience, the intended audience is going to be test 4. We're going to say, okay, so we've looked at this particular submission. So we say, good. So now we have a question. Now we have the question of, you know, which of these two, the one we just looked at before or the current one that we're looking at now is better. So previous or current. And then we just submit whichever one we think is better. Let me go over here really quick. Let me go back and let me see something. So this guy right here says current, its location and intended audience is the description there. So we have location. Location. So actually, I think what it should be is that if the location is over here, I actually think I have this backwards. I think I think I have it so the location, 1 second, I have to change something really quick. I think the location, so that should be a link. Yep, that's fine. And then yeah. Okay, I think I do have this backwards. Let me modify something really quick. I'm going to cd into projects sum1. Sorry, 3 blue 1 brown. 3 blue 1 brown sum1. ls here, and let's go into vi simple sort.jl. Move down here. Okay, it's not clear what I'm doing, but basically what I'm trying to do is make it so when we output data, it outputs. What do I want to output? I want it to output. I want the location, so I want the link to be under description, and I want location to be the last column. So it should be. Oh, okay, this is correct. Yep, good. Okay, so I did it correctly. Okay, I was just making sure that all the data was aligned properly, so when it's read in, it's going to be fine. Okay, and so now we just choose which one we like better, current or previous, so we'll say current, and then we have to choose between the one we just looked at and a new one, so we do current or previous here. So we'll say, I like the previous one better, and we submit that, and then basically we just keep saying which one we like better over and over again, and we ask them to do like maybe 5 entries or so, and then afterwards, if we refresh over here, we see, oh, well now we have a list of people who have gotten certain votes, they've been seen at certain times, and like it gives us some sort of calculation to see like who's better than who type of thing. Like you could imagine it as some sort of ELO ranking or something like that. And so our plan is just to take the top 100 entries after they've been judged by everyone, and just to see who's, you know, how people are doing. So what Grant was hoping to do was to make it so instead of having the interface like we just had, where we like, you know, have a current one and we choose a current one and then we select which one we like better and all that kind of stuff, he wanted everyone to have 5 entries at the same time. So we look at the 5 entries and then we do a ranked ordered list to see, you know, which one's better than what. So we say this one's better than this one's better than that one, and we move them around like that. Now here's the problem, and this is why I really don't know how to do this at all. So journal, new page before. There's actually a bunch of little bits here that I don't know. The first bit is, okay, the first bit is converting a ranked list. Oh, 1 second. Into ordered pairs, or I don't know what to call it. I'll say ordered pairs. Ordered pairs. Okay. The second, and actually more difficult thing to do is modifying the UI to reflect this. And the reason this is more difficult is I have no idea how to do it. I don't know anything about the UI. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to do like some sort of weird JavaScript thing. And I don't really know how to put JavaScript into HTML or any of that. I just don't know because I'm just not a web dev. So let's go ahead and poke around the code and see what we can do. And just try to find where we need to make these changes. And then if we can find them, we just make the changes. And again, I'm going to say if at 3 o'clock p.m. I'm not able to solve this issue, then I'm just going to tell Grant that, hey, look, you know, because I spent this weekend trying to figure this out as well. And I'm just going to tell Grant, hey, I just can't do this part. Everything else seems to be working fine. It's just that last bit I wasn't able to get to. But, you know, like you just saw, we do have an interface. It will work. It's just a matter of using it. And sure, maybe it's not quite as efficient as it could be, but the fact is it's working, and like that's kind of what matters right now. I want to thank Nick again for showing me Gavel, because actually it is almost exactly what we need. It's just small things like this that we need to do. The ranked list into ordered pairs seems rather simple. Yeah, I think it's simple as well. It's not going to be too difficult. The UI changes will suck. Right, exactly. So I think this is going to be kind of fine. I even think I know where I need to change the code. It's just this, I have no idea. So I was looking up this weekend. Sorry, I was looking at this weekend how to do ranked moving ranked lists, JavaScript maybe. There was, I cannot find what I was looking for before, but maybe this one. I mean, it looks like I clicked on this link before. I apparently did, and I don't remember when I did. JS Fiddle. This is probably the one I was looking at. Right, I think this is the one I was looking at. So you can just kind of move the items around, something like this. Right. So, we could, we could probably just put this code in there somewhere, but I'm going to be honest in saying I don't really know how to put JavaScript code in HTML. I did at some point, I don't anymore. Plus there's some CSS in here. It's just a lot of the stuff that I don't know. So let's just take a look and see what we have. So I'm going to go ahead and just poke around the code, cd projects, gavel, and then we're also going to do cd gavel again. Okay. Right. So how does this work? So the way it works is that every item and everything between admins, judges, and items, which are projects, they all have this thing called an annotator. So the annotator is kind of just how you annotate. Basically, it's just all the data that's necessary to run this particular object. So if I go into VI controllers, and then we go into not admin judges, I believe, .py. Sorry, I did the wrong one. VI model, and then judges, no, annotator.py. We get this class annotator. And in the class annotator, we have the ID, we have the name, the email, whether it's active or not, the welcome message, the description, a secret ID, which is necessary for the link. And then we have the next ID, next, updated, previous ID, previous, and then ignore. What's Gavel? Right, so ZXML, this is a good question. Another web framework. It's not exactly a web framework. So Gavel is it's a voting procedure that's used for hackathons and stuff like that. So we need it for the Summer of Math Exposition. So again, just to reiterate, we have about 1,000 entries, and we're going to try to make it so, sorry, I kind of hit the mic there. So we have about 1,000 entries, a little bit more than 1,000 entries right now. So we're expecting maybe 1,200 entries when it's all done. And essentially what we need to do is find a way to sort through these 1,000 entries to get just the top 10%, right? And the way we're currently doing that is with a voting system known as Gavel. There's just some small there's some small issues with that. That's why I was mailing him last time, yeah, or her. Actually, I don't know. Is it? That's why I was emailing them because I actually don't know their gender, and I didn't ask, so I didn't think about that. But yeah, that's why I was emailing them, because they were the main developer. And so they sent me a message back saying that, hey, if you want to do this, you might want to do this instead. So fundamentally, what I think I need to do, so right now we just have like next and previous. What I need to do is probably turn this into a list of database columns. So I'm not quite sure how to do that in Python. I know how to do it in Julia, but not quite in Python. And so, yeah, so we need to change this so we have, instead of previous and next, we just have a list of 5 that we give people. And I think that's okay. So like we do something like judge list or something, and that's going to be equal to all of the, like, it's going to be equal to all this kind of stuff. I think we need to do that. And another thing that we need to do is go into judge.py, like 206 or something like that. Yeah, and we need to make it so when choose next, it chooses the next items. What we do is we pick out like the top 5 items, and we return them all on the list. So here we do return, yeah, so here's where things get a little bit complicated. So we have crowd_bt.arg max. What? Oh, okay. And what file is this? At trash resolution. I'm sorry, what? I'm at trash resolution. So the file that I'm currently looking at right now, here, let me just go ahead and give you GitHub, and I will show it to you there. 1 second. Here. And then I need to go to Gavel, and it will be under, I'm currently looking under controllers and judge.py. So I'm just going to give you this. It's also obviously a link to the, it's a link to the entire repository that I'm working under right now. So, right, so that's what I'm currently looking at. Judge.py. Okay, so I think that's one thing that we need to do. We need to make it so it returns back a list of 5. And I think that's fine. So let's go into the UI element and see what we need to do there. So ls here, And I think if I go to CD templates, actually just VI templates, and then we look at, oh gosh, judge. What are we looking for here? Admin, begin, closed, disabled, error, items, layout, logged out, probably vote.html. So this is, I think, unless the HTML code was generated by something else, where the web pages that we were looking at before that had like, you know, the previous entry and the current entry, and you have to choose between them. So what I'd have to do is, I think, find a way to put this JavaScript stuff, which I have over here, find a way to put this into that, and make it so we have the 5 entries, and then we just kind of like move things around. That's kind of what I'm looking to do. If making a list, consider how to skip simple projects. Skip single projects. So right now, the way that you skip a single project is that they're all added to a list of ignored IDs. So like if you're looking at the list of items, there's also a list of ignored items, things that you aren't supposed to look at. So when you say skip single projects, are you talking about projects from a single individual, or are you talking about like certain projects that you just shouldn't be looking at? So there's a couple different ways in which that's done. So I, as the admin, can actually go in and just disable certain projects if people have said, you know, this project isn't good for whatever reason. Like, you know, for example, it isn't actually a project, it's just like text or something, of someone saying 3 blue and brown, please look at my content or something. Right. So I think these are the files I need to update. There might be more to it, but I think this is where I'm at. Now, you guys are going to be really pissed off because the only way I know how to actually recompile this code is to turn off and on the VPN. That's the only way I know how to do it. This is called Flask templating, if I remember correctly. Yeah, they did use Flask, but I didn't know what Flask was. So I'm referring to skipping if I am unqualified to rank 1. Oh, right. That's why, that was another reason why I kind of like the system that it currently is. Because I like the fact that you can, you know, skip through, like, you know, you can say, hey, I have to skip this particular one, and I give people the option to skip through it. Making anything cool. Today, I don't know if we're making anything like super cool, not like we're normally doing, but it's something that needs to be done, and I figured I could do it on stream because honestly, you guys probably know way more about this than I do, because I've been banging my head against this all weekend and I got nowhere. I was able to make like one small change, which basically it disables like, okay. Let's go back to the start. So what I'm working on right now is a judging system for the Summer of Math Exposition. We have about 1,000 entries, and we want basically some sort of peer review. So we're working with this system called Gavel, which basically is a judging system where you get a bunch of judges and they're judging each other. What I'm trying to do is make a small change to this so that instead of giving people like a single item at a time, which is the way Gavel currently works, it gives people 5 items at a time and then orders them with a ranked list. I actually don't know if doing it in a ranked list would be possible to also skip individual ones. Flask is a Python framework for WebDev. You do all of the computation in Python and fill in the templates of the existing HTML. Okay, yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, see, this is why I needed people on stream to tell me what's going on, because I can make like small changes here and there. So, for example, I know if I go back and I go here, I know there's this... I'm sorry, I was actually in the right directory, Gavel here. If I go into VI controllers, where is it? I think it's, where is it? LS, it is under, actually, I can't find what I'm looking for. LS assets? 1 second, nope. See Gavel, LS here. LS static probably. Static. Nope. Constants. That's what it is. Constants.py. So here's where we have like all the welcome messages and stuff like that. So I know that this does turn into a web page, but I don't know where any of the other web pages come from except from the HTML. So the stuff are filled and replaced with Python. Oh, okay, I see. So it's just like the algorithm archive where you have Markdown that's replaced with certain bits and stuff. That's fine. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be editing the HTML or not. Controllers judge or templates judge? I didn't know there was a templates judge. 1 second. Judge. It should be under controllers judge. MVC pattern is what this is based on. What is MVC pattern? Also, I'm sorry guys, like again, I just need to be totally and completely transparent with you in saying that I'm not a web developer and, you know, I don't know how to do this type of stuff. I do have the utmost respect for web developers though, just for the record. It's just not stuff that I know about. Yeah, there was a discussion I had a long time ago with one of my friends who does a lot of web development. And I was talking to her and I was saying that, you know, like web development is just a fundamentally different type of development, right? Than the type that I do. And she took that as an insult. I was like, no, like, I don't mean it in a bad way. It's just different. I don't know how to do it. And I couldn't convince her that I wasn't like belittling web development. I was like trying to be like, yeah, web development's just different. I don't know it, you know? MVC pattern is what this is based on. Why didn't you hire someone to do this? Good old MVC, model viewer controllers is basically a way to do web dev. You should, do a 2-minute crash course real quick. I mean, okay, here's the thing. Why didn't you hire someone to do this? I mean, if someone in chat wants to do it, I'll give you, I don't know how long it will take, I guess. But if someone in chat wants to do it, I can hire you right now and give you, I don't know, $50 an hour or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's just, it needs to be done by Wednesday. So I don't know. It's also hard to be objective about this stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, if I can't get this done, I mean, like, the fact is, I got most of it finished. I did most of the stuff that I needed to do, and the system will work now because I've disabled, because I've disabled the functionality, or I've disabled judges from judging themselves, which is a big thing. So now we can at least make sure it's fair. The other reason as to why we didn't hire anybody, also for $50 an hour, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know what a good price is. Let me reach out to someone. Let me reach out to someone for this who has worked with Gavel. Yeah. So I talked to. Okay. So the question is it actually important to, you know, create a list of 5 people? I don't know. If you're serious about hiring someone. I mean, it has to be done on short notice. So, like, I mean, how long do you think it will actually take to do this? I think it's going to take 2 hours. I think if people know how to do it, I think it takes 2 hours of time. So I'm basically saying I'll give you $100 if you can do this, and I think that's fair. The only reason I said $50 an hour was because I thought maybe it could take 3 hours or something, in which case I wanted to make sure it scales a bit. So yeah, but also, like, it needs to be done soon, like today. So I read that as you didn't want to hire someone to judge applications, not to make Gavel work. Oh, that makes a lot more sense. Right. So, So as far as getting Gavel to work, yeah. So the reason we didn't hire anybody is because honestly, we didn't know about Gavel until last week, and we had no idea it was going to work. Now we're fairly certain it's going to work, but the question is whether we can, you know, get it to judge a group of 5 or something like that, instead of judging one at a time, you know? So that's kind of where we're at right now. I don't think it's going to be too hard to fix. In fact, I think I know how to fix it. It's just I don't know, like, how to change the UI elements and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at. So honestly, I am actually kind of serious about doing the hiring here. Like, I mean, if you think that there's someone who can do it in like an hour or 2, then, like, yeah, let's just do it. I mean, screw it. It saves me time and effort, and I can focus on other things. I mean, it's going to have to be under the table, though. Like, that's the only problem. But also, as far as, like, I kind of wish I don't know. Let me just see if I can bang my head against it for the next few hours and see what we can do. If we can't figure it out, like, I'm going to be honest, I'm actually kind of fine with the system that we have right now. It's okay. Again, it's basically just stock Gavel. And so that's not too bad. Now, there is one problem with the current development scheme that I've been working with, in that I have been developing entirely on the master branch of my own repository. Really shouldn't have been doing that, but I did it because I wasn't intending to. Are you using Amazon Cloud 9 IDE? No, I'm not. This is just whatever JavaScript JS fiddle was. I just was looking at something. Let me go back over here, get status dot get diff controllers judge.py get add. Let's see, what do we have? Controllers judge.py get commit -m, changing the name to email for items, whatever. Git push origin master. Okay, so let's just keep going then. Okay, so I'm actually, are you going serverless when hosting this? No. So we're planning to host this on Heroku. I don't know, actually, I'm Heroku, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce it. But yeah, so we're just planning to put it there. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but it's just easy to launch it there. And so I figured, let's just go ahead and do it. That whole infrastructure is already present. So we can just launch it there, give everyone their magic links, and go from there. That's not too difficult. We were hoping to do the judging for this, like do the beta testing for this system tomorrow. And then if we could do the beta testing tomorrow, then we can do the actual launch on like Wednesday-ish, and then give everyone like a week to do the judging and stuff. So that was a plan. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's a good idea. Or to host it on Amazon Lightsail container service. It's like Heroku, but cheaper and better. Heroku is fine. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, if it doesn't work, okay, well, we tried. I mean, we only have 1,000 people, right? Well, only have 1,000 people. We have 1,000 people, right? Which is kind of a lot, but it's not that many, right? So it's not like we're going to have, thousands, plural, of people looking at the site. It's just, at most we're going to have like 100 on at any time. Maybe 200 or 300 on it at any time, but I doubt that they're all going to be on at the same exact time. So I don't think we have to worry too much about bandwidth. It's not like we're actually sending images back and forth. Like it's pretty lightweight. So I don't think we need anything really heavy. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, every time I try to think about this, I keep like kind of talking myself out of it. Because it's like, do we actually need to judge them in a group of 5? Not really, right? I mean, like, here's what we're doing. We're asking is 1 better than 2, is better than 3, is better than 4, is better than 5, right? So we're asking which one's better between 1 and 2. So 2 is better here. We'll say 2 is better there. We'll say 3 is better than 4, but 4 is better than 5, right? So then the question is 5 better than 1? Or something like this, right? So we gave everyone pairwise interactions. And then what we can do is we can basically infer information. Like, for example, we know that 4 is better than, or we know that 2 is better than 4 in this case, right? And if 5 is better than 4, we can't really make a claim about 5 and 2 here, but like, there's certain information that you can infer and all that kind of stuff. Meanwhile, if we give everyone a ranked order list of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Then we know for a fact that 2 is better than 1, or 2 is worse than 1, 3 is worse than 1, 4 is worse than 1, and 5 is worse than 1. So instead of just having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 interactions, and you have to infer information, we have essentially, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have the relationship between all of these guys determined, right? So in some sense, oh gosh, how do you connect these guys? Holy cow. I'm missing that one. So we have the entire set of them all considered, right? Which gives us more information to work off of, right? So use graph database for this, I think. I think going from a ranked ordered list to pairwise isn't so bad, because it's like, the question is for item in list, whatever this list is up here. We then say, you know, we have a set of 20 pairwise interactions, and it's like, you know, is one, which comes first, right? Like, I think you don't really have to, it's kind of, we don't really have to do anything super graph based, because is one better than two is a question. Than 2? Is 1 better than 3? Is 1 better than 4? Is 1 better than 5, right? So it's super easy to just say, you know, we can literally just turn this into like true, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, we can just turn this into a set of true false statements and then say, you know, this is our connection network or something like that. And we don't even have to say true false. We can just say like one is better than the other and all this kind of stuff. So right, so I guess let's work on that infrastructure first, because I say that that's the easy part. And so let's just kind of figure that out. How would that work? And if we can figure that part out, then I think then at that stage I'd be willing to, again, pay someone $100 to do the UI if that's what it takes. You know, I don't know. Maybe it takes longer. I have no idea. How long does it take to do this type of stuff? I have no idea. Okay, I need to respond to something from work really quick. Sorry about that. So, you know, I said I have this GPU mini course that I have to teach. Okay, I'm doing this GPU mini course, right? Teaching people how to do GPU computing, but the primary cluster that we're using to teach people GPU computing is down. Because there was a power outage that happened like yesterday or last week or something. So if it's down, then I'm not going to be able to teach the course. So let me just respond to this message that I got really quick, and then I will be right back. Give me just a second, because it's kind of important. Okay, 1 second. I mean, it's fine. Chord. 1 second. Let's see. So here's the issue. Oh no. So here's what happened. The test is tomorrow. But sorry, not the test. I took the PCR test today, which means I can't come into OIST until tomorrow. Which means tomorrow, being the day of the course, we're gonna have to like test everything. Oh no. It's just a string of bad luck put together. It's kind of insane. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, so I think maybe we should delay that till Thursday or something. Oh, whatever. Oh, why is it so much bad luck? The guy I reached out to is unavailable. Okay, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it. Thanks, Nick. Then, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to see if we can do the back-end part. If we can figure out the back-end part, we assume the front-end part is doable by someone else. And then we figure out how to do that part. Let's see. Let's see. What's the front end part? Just a UI for sorting 5 things? Essentially, yeah, it's just a UI for sorting 5 things. That's it. So I want it to be something like this over here, where you just have 5 items and you can just drag and drop them. That's kind of what I'm looking for. That's why this is up. We don't have any commands, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we've just had such bad luck with this GPU course. It's insane. So we taught the first session like a week and a half ago because the person in charge of organizing the courses was taking a break last week. So we're like, okay, that's fine. We'll do one course, and then in the next week we'll just take off, and then we'll come back the week after that. But then in that week, there was a power outage, which basically took all of our GPU capabilities offline. And then when all the GPU capabilities were offline, I also had to go to Tokyo. So now I'm not able to go into the office today. I can only go tomorrow. And then I'm going to have to set everything up tomorrow. But we do actually have a GPU box available in our lab. The problem with that, though, is we don't have the right power cord. And the power cord was ordered a month ago, but didn't come in until yesterday. So it's just like all of this stuff put together. It's just a bunch of bad luck. One second. So we get the GPU box up. We'd have to make it so everyone shares the same guest account, which is not necessarily great, but like, I don't know, maybe it's fine. Yeah, it's probably fine. Anyway, I'm sorry about this. I didn't expect to have to do that right now. Anyway, we'll see how that goes. I'll just keep monitoring that during the stream. Let's try to figure out the backend stuff if we can, and then go from there. What exactly does one study in a GPU computing course, like CUDA and stuff? Yeah, so it's not, right now we're not teaching, CUDA so much. So right now we're doing it through kernel abstractions with Julia, but the big things that you learn for GPU computing are the following. So journal, new page before. Obviously we learn about basics of parallelism. A lot of it is syntax, right? Like, oh, for Pete's sake, syntax. Like, how exactly do you code in this language? What's the point here? So, like, how do you configure kernels? How do you run functions? All this kind of stuff. But then, hopefully, how did I misspell syntax? But the other goal is to describe, like, how you do GPU computing. So, what about shared memory? Like, how do you, what about, like, memory coalescence? Let's see. You know, how do you take something that's ordinarily bad on GPUs and make them good, like parallel summation? That's something that's really hard to do. Well, not really hard, but it's the first non-trivial thing to do on a GPU and stuff like that. So, yeah. So it's just stuff like this. It's just like the basics of GPU computing, how to refactor your code that's already working for the CPU to work on the GPU, how to make use of parallelism, all this kind of stuff. So right now we're using Julia's kernel abstractions for this. Kernel abstractions, which basically allows us to write code that works both on the CPU and GPU. Don't want to derail, but does the crowd BT algorithm accept ranked choice as a valid input? It does not, which is why we have to take the ranked order here and then turn it into the set of non-ranked order and then put it into the crowd BT algorithm. So that's what I was going to look into next, the crowd BT.py, to see if we can actually just input it, because otherwise we might have trouble. And again, like, this is all, I'm going to be honest, this is a nice have. It's not a necessary component of the grading scheme or the judging scheme. So again, if we're poking around at this for a few hours and we don't find a solution, I'm kind of okay with just saying, look, we have a system that seems to work okay. Let's just use that system, There's no reason to like make this more difficult on ourselves, So let's do ls here. There should be a crowd bt.py, crowd bt.py. Do you use Wacom Creative Tablet for drawing? Yes, I do, actually. It's the Wacom Intuos 4 is what I do. Now, for drawing, it is... I don't know if you can count what I do drawing. It's more scribbling. But yeah, I use that for all my Zernal stuff. Okay. Oh no. Okay. Right. Okay. Update. Right. Okay. Let me make it a bit bigger. Okay, and that's it. That's all we have. Okay. Right. So I think what we have to do is have argmax return the first 5 maximum values. That's one thing that we have to do in order to create the list of sorted, create the list of 5 to give to people. Okay, so now what is going on with this update function? We update and we have alpha, beta, mu winner, sigma, SQ winner, mu loser, sigma, SQ loser, updated alpha. Okay, so what this does is it... Okay, so what we'd have to do is read in... We'd have to create the list of 5, and this gives us 20 different comparisons, essentially. I think it's 20, isn't it? I think it's 20 different comparisons. So we have 20 different comparisons, and we have to read all those into this update function, I think. Now the question is, what is alpha and beta? And I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, so updated mu's, updated sigmas, updated annotator. Okay, so we have mu winner, sigma SQ loser. So where do we get the sigmas and the mu's and all of that? Because presumably we'll have a list of winners and losers, right? And so if we have a list of winners and losers, then we can do... If we have that, then we can just put these in, right? I just have to know what alpha, beta, mu winner, and all that is. So I guess let's just look for the update function. And let's see what we got. So do 1 second. grep-rl update. And it looks like it's an annotator.py, admin annotator. Okay, let's just go into vi models and then annotator.py. You were using Latin names as parameters. So that was well, I think they're Greek, but yeah, we're definitely using Greek names. Okay, update. So this is used update next. Updated. This is not the BT update. So that means when are we actually using update? I guess it's only in crowd BT. Let's go to update. Update. Maybe I should specifically look for update with parentheses. Come on. Update. Okay. Next. Wait. When is this function actually used? grep-rl update with the parentheses. Okay. Maybe that. Okay, init.py and annotator.py. I think it was just in annotator.py. Update here? No, that's not what I want. Let's go to vi init.py and let's go for update. So maybe we don't need... What is this? Thanks for that. Let me see what it is. Condorcet Method is an election method that elects the candidate who wins the majority of the vote in every head-to-head election against each other candidate. That is, a candidate preferred by more voters than others whenever there's such a candidate. A candidate with this property, the pairwise champion or beats all winner, is formally called the Condorcet winner. The head-to-head elections need not be done separately. A voter's choice within any given pair can be determined from the ranking. Are you telling... So wait, do you think... Rank any number of your preference. Right. So are you saying that... So this is kind of what I wanted to do, but I did want to try to plug it back into the crowd BC algorithm because it's there. But maybe you're right. Maybe we don't need the crowd BC algorithm. Maybe we could just write our own. In which case, there isn't really a need to use Gavel, except maybe as a framework to build on top of, you know? So Condorcet, I think, am I pronouncing that correctly? Condorcet? Probably Condorcet's right. 1 second. Oh, I just got random emails. By the way, a few minutes ago, Joseph, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. This may derail you a ton. No, I think we're kind of sort of getting in this direction. Okay, so my question is, we vote, right? We choose one is better than another, right? So let's go into vote.html and see what that actually calls. So what happens when you click that button, right? So let's go into VI templates, and then let's go into vote.html, and here we have vote, and it says previous, current, and then script source, URL, static file name, smart toggle button.js, script. Okay. That doesn't help me. Where's the actual Python code that we call? Like when a vote happens, where does that go? Vote previous class radio button left. It's all fine. It doesn't matter. Previous.e. So input hidden. Okay. So maybe this doesn't actually enact any Python code. Maybe what it does is it causes the simulation to move like one step forward. So let's do ls here, and let's go into vi controllers judge.py, requires active annotator, index, vote. So here's the vote operation. My assumption is that using this operation will like move the simulation forward. So it's got a sub function which is tx. Oh no. So we have annotators, get current annotator. We say if annotator.previous ID is equal to the int of request form previous ID, and annotator.next ID is int request form of next ID. Okay. Okay, well I can look up NVC pattern. Common use for developing user interfaces that divide the related program logic into 3 interconnected elements. Right, so I understand that much. Right, like that's not difficult. So, okay. Right, like I understood that. You can use and? Yeah, you can use and in Python. Let me get some water. Yeah, I knew that. Okay, so if request.form action skip annotator.ignore.append annotator.next. Okay. If annotator.previous.active and annotator.next.active, if request.form. Okay, so then we do perform vote. So there's just a function called perform vote. That's what we need. So let's go into grep-rl perform vote. It's only in judge.py. Great. Perform. Okay. There it is. What does this call? So we say loser.annotator.next, and then we say u alpha, u beta, and all of this is equal to crowd.bt update. And then we say annotator.alpha. Which annotator? So let's look how perform vote is being used. It's here, and then it's here. So it's annotator. And which annotator are we reading? And it must be the annotator of the judge, right? So why are we updating the judge's annotator? Let's see. Annotator.beta. Oh, winner mu, winner sigma, loser mu, loser.sigma. Okay, so this means that all the annotators must have mu's and sigmas involved with them, and that must be what we're calling. So if perform vote, okay, so essentially what we're looking for is a way to do this perform vote function on a number of different items at the same time. So here we have vote. And essentially we want to modify, I think, if I'm understanding this correctly, is we want to modify the vote function such that, what is tx for? We want to modify the vote function such that, see, it's so built into the framework here that it's very difficult to do anything with. If annotator.previous.id is equal to int. Okay, so what would we have to do here? We'd say annotator is equal to get current annotator. Right. Oh, I see. That's what we're doing down here with retries tx. Okay. So we say request.form action is equal to skip, and then we say if annotator previous active and annotator next active. Ignores things that were deactivated in the middle of judging. What is the web application framework you're using in Python? So I think they're using flask.py, right? Isn't that a thing? Okay. Yeah, I think this is what they're doing. So, right. So we do, so if request.form action is equal to previous. So that's something, I think we have to update that as well. So here, the idea would be that, you know, they give us a ranked ordered list of things, right? So if request.form action, that's not data that we can return. We're going to have to modify it so that we're going to modify it so that it doesn't work off of an if statement. No, we're going to have to do it. So we want a ranked order list. So what we need to do is read in the ranked order list, run the vote button, and then just kind of create the list of things that we're going to do here, and then just kind of perform vote, and just perform all 20 votes. And that's just how we're going to have to do it, I think. So I'm just doing it for today. So, right, so I've mentioned this a few times. What I'm doing right now is trying to create a judging interface for the Summer of Math exposition. So right now we do have a judging interface using Gavel, which is the framework that we're using for the judging. But I was hoping to modify it. So instead of giving everyone pairwise interaction, so the way it currently works is you have like one project and then another project, and you ask which one of these two is better, and then you say, okay, which one of these two is better, which one of these two is better, so on and so forth. Instead of doing it that way, I wanted just to give everyone a list of 5 and have them kind of rank order that list. But the whole like pairwise interaction with like one next to another is kind of so intrinsic to the framework, like it's so built into this framework that I think it's going to be hard to fix it. You'll need prefer items return a list of 5, and then perform vote can have that occur. Oh, let me see what we have for perform vote. I don't have an uptime command, but I think you can just look at it under the stream. Preferred items should be a list already. Right, so I think preferred items is already a list. And so perform vote, which should be here. Right, so my question is, so my issue is, what does the vote command do here? So the vote command, right now, will take in the answer to the form, whether it be the previous or current one, right? It takes in the answer to the form, and then it just performs the vote on that change. So what I need to do is say, from the form, we need to get the list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we need to modify this function so that it performs vote on each of those, I think. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute here. But the way perform vote is done is it's perform vote annotator. It does a perform vote on the annotator, And the way perform vote works is it says that the annotator has 5 IDs associated with it. So if we have 5 IDs associated with each annotator, then what we can do is we can say, you know, at the end of this, like, okay, how do we do this? So the annotator, journal new page before. So we have the judge. The judge will have a list of 5 items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll have a rank of those 5 items. So this is 5, 4, 2, 1, 3 or something. And this essentially means that 1 during the judging session came in 5th, 2 came in 4th, 3 came in 2nd, 4 came in 1st, and 5 came in 3rd, or something like this, right? And so from that list, we can then say that we can read in to the perform vote function the annotator, because it has a list of all 5, and then the ranked list, like which one won what, right? And then we have to modify the perform vote function so that perform vote, so that instead of just taking in next won and next loss, it will actually take in a list of 5 ranked ordered. And I think that's what we need to do. Yeah. I think that makes sense. And then we BT update on each of those guys. And so basically we just put this into a loop and loop through all the winners and losers. And that's, I think, what we need to do. Okay, so I think that's doable. I think that's what we need to do, and I think it's doable. The question is, can we get the UI to do what we want it to do? And when exactly is the vote function called? So let's go into grep-rl vote. I guess it's vote.html, right? One second. Okay, so let's go into VI templates. I guess vote.html. You'll need to perform many votes. Right. Concerned about how does an annotator model work. Yeah, this is... So I think what we need to do is we need to update the judge so it has a list of 5. So it needs to have a list of 5 instead of the whole next and previous. I think this needs to go away. Okay, let's see. Is there an app root in here? Made at row. Let me look for that. grep -rl app dot route. Oh, I see. So when the HTML button is clicked. Okay, so it's going to be in VI controllers. Judge app dot route. Here, I see what you're saying. Right. So basically when the app does... I see. So when the app finishes the vote page, or whatever it's called. Okay, so it's called based on the HTML. Okay, that's fair. Okay, yep. So when you go to nick.com vote, it makes a post request to it that is run. Right. Okay, that makes sense. Good. Okay. So my next question is, where does it get... Hey, Moss. Yeah, I'm in Okinawa still. But I'm not able to go to... I'm not able to go to campus today because I just came back from Tokyo, so the PCR test hasn't been passed yet. I'll be able to go in tomorrow. I've got a class I'm supposed to teach tomorrow, but Scion is down, so the GPU computing cluster is down, so I don't even know if I'm going to be able to teach the class or not. So in templates vote.html on line 32, there's a post. Right, I think that's here. One second. 32. Oh, right, I got you. Right. That form being submitted will make the post request. Right. Let's have lunch tomorrow. Yeah, we'll see. Sorry about that. It depends on how busy I am with the GPU skill pill and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. I've been really I've been struggling with Okinawa right now. Like, I've been wanting to come into Oyst every day, but last week I wasn't able to go in a single day. Like, I tried to come in every day and I just wasn't able to, for one reason or another. Like, there's just something that kind of came up that made it so I had to work from home or something. But I did finally get the power cord for the computer we have in the office, so I should be able to get some work done in the office now, which is good. So that's an advantage. Okay, so this does the post, and then I think, again, so the post will be done here, which is going to be vote. There, yep. The whole group is here watching you. They say hi. Oh, tell them I also said hi. Sorry, today's a boring stream, but it is what it is. Well, it's not boring. We're getting there. It's just that, you know, I have no idea what I'm doing. By the way, Zyculai, thank you so much for following a few minutes ago. Sorry that I missed that. I just didn't have my notifications up on my side screen. Okay, so let's see. What else do we do here? So, like what Nick was saying, we have... Okay, I think I know how to fix this. I think we have to change the judge's annotator. So instead of having this whole next and previous ideology, it has like a list of 5, and then we judge based on the list of 5. My question is the following: if we have the vote thing do some sort of post, right? So it basically does this app.route post thing, so that it calls this function. How do we send it the list of 5 instead of giving it? Like here we have request.form action is equal to previous, right? Can I do request.form list or something? Like a request.form, like, how do I return a list there? Action. Action is going to be URL vote. So this is what it's posting, the action there. Yeah. So what I need to do is, we'll need to do one of those things. Oh man. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a break for now and do some algorithm archive PRs, and we're going to come back to this. I'm still not convinced this is actually a worthwhile change. Again, Grant seems to like the idea because it gives us a bit more data. But it seems to me like after all this is done, we still need to find a way to update the UI itself so that it gives us a list of 5 to begin with. Right. Okay, let's take a break, and let's do some algorithm archive PRs. So this whole thing looks like it's in one of these vote blocks in here. Okay, algorithm archive PR. Let's just go ahead and do that. I need to take a break from this. My brain is kind of a bit fried. I mean, the thing is, like I said before, WebDev is just not something I've done a lot of before, so anytime I have to do it, I just get really confused really quickly. Okay, let's go to github.com. There's a few PRs that I actually want to look at today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the algorithm archive in here. So for those of you guys who may be new here, you haven't been here before, the primary thing that we work on is a website called the Algorithm Archive. So let's go to the algorithmarchive.org. Here, the idea is that we have a bunch of different algorithms in a bunch of different languages. So for example, we can go to the Euclidean algorithm, which is an algorithm to find the least common denominator of a of 2 integers or whatever. And you know, we just have all these languages that you can switch between, right? Some of them are good languages, some of them are like lol code and stuff like that. It will be like this for item in list somewhere, HTML stuff, HTML N4, right? By the way, Nick, thank you so much for all the help here. Like honestly, you've been super helpful, and I just have to comment that I'm really appreciative of the help here. So the last chapter that we put out was the approximate counting algorithm, which is right here. Spent a lot of time on this chapter. Also, there's a video out on the same topic. Okay, so let's go to the algorithm archive on GitHub, take a look at some pull requests, and let's just get some stuff merged. So there's a typo in Julia Barnsley here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Let's go ahead and do files changed. The initial starting location. Yep. Okay, easy enough to change this. Bam, approve, done. This one's not hard at all. Stack Overflow, let me take a look. No, I'm going to have it up just in case chat goes too fast. Okay, so here's a quick PR. We can merge it. No problems. So, thanks for the catch. Okay, and let's go ahead and do submit review. And approve and merge. Perfect. Okay, so that's 1 PR down. I was going to say like 1 PR a day, but honestly, it's like, screw it. Like, we can do more than that. So there were a few of these that have been approved. Convolutions of images here has been approved. So I'm just going to go through the ones that Amorous approved and said, you know, they appreciated. So let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and do, yep. Okay, then I'm just going to say files changed. And we're just going to say review changes, approve this one as well. Oh, wait a minute. Wait 1 minute. Was it fixed? So let's go here. I just want to make sure the line numbers were fixed. So do conversation, because there were a few line numbers here that needed to be fixed for this one to be merged. I like your title of the stream. Yeah, sorry. More complicated blog post. Let's take a look here. There. I mean, I do have a PhD, just for the record, in case people think it's clickbait. Like, I literally do have a PhD. It's just I know nothing about WebDev. So, let me... two commits. So, I think these were fixed then. Show resolved. So, 39 to 54 to 36 to 52. And the other one was 21 to 33. In what field do you have a PhD? It's in, you can claim it's either in computational or quantum physics, depending on, you know, how you feel that day. So 21 to 33, 36 to 52. Let's go back. Let's go down here really quick. And just make sure those line numbers were the same, because I've just forgotten what the line numbers 36 to 52 is correct. And 21 to 33. Those look correct to me. So what are we going to do next? We are going to wait one workflow awaiting approval. First time contributors need a maintainer to approve and run workflows. Okay. Let's go ahead and I'm going to approve it. I think this is fine to approve. So let's go up here. Go ahead and give this guy an approval. I'm definitely not big brain. I think this looks good. Thanks for the review. Okay. And code. Submit review. I think I will actually build it locally, just to make sure everything's fine. This does bring up a question, like, you know, we could do something like a Linode server or something that, you know, builds this and, you know, shows the result or something like that later, but I don't think that's necessarily, like, absolutely necessary here. Let me just make sure everything is correct one more time before merging. 1 second. Files changed. So again, it's 21 to 33, 36 to 52. So it should be 21 to 33, 50... Wait, what was it? 36 to 52? 1 second. 36 to 52 was the other one. I'm just checking the line numbers here. 36 to 52 actually seems incorrect. It actually looks like it should be 36 to... Oh, 36 to 52 is correct. Yeah, 36. What was I looking at? 36 to 52. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, I'm happy with that. Was the PhD fun most of the time? Yeah, we can talk about that in just a second. So let's go back to the conversation over here. And I think... Oh, is this a first-time contributor? Did they update... Did they update contributors.py? Or the contributors? No, they did not. In here, I'm just going to say before merging. 1 second. Okay, happy enough with this. Happy enough with this, but because you are a first... 1 second. Oh, come on. Time. Feel free to put your name in the contributors.md file. I will. You don't have to. If you do not want to. 1 second. Okay, I think that's fine. Let's go ahead and comment there. You'll probably need to modify the app.route / to render a template of vote.html with something that is not just previous and next. Not sure how to do that yet. Line 72 will probably be something like return, render template vote.html items annotator. Maybe in an annotator, we'll need to return a list of annotators maybe. Yeah, so yeah, I think you're right. I think init annotators will have to do it. Let's keep doing some algorithm archive stuff. Again, I just need a quick break from the WebDev to focus on something else. I'm just tired. Okay, so we'll give the guy a second to put their name in contributors.py. Let's see, what is this? Reviews 1. Oh, yeah, I wasn't able to fix that yet. Barnsley in C. This one's been approved. Let's go and take a look there. I think it was approved by Amorous. Let's take a look here. C, and it says, yeah, it's just one big thing at the bottom. Perfect. Okay. No description provided. Now, did they put their name in contributors.md? I don't know if they did. They did not. So similar to the last one. Looks good to me as well. Let's see. Because you are a first-time contributor, feel free to put your name in the contributors .md file before we merge. And let me just go ahead and put that in the review. Control C, probably Control X, and put that in the positive review. Approve, paste, submit. I'm thinking this through as I'm semi-familiar with Flask and Python, so before I sleep, I want to impart my knowledge. Don't worry about reading these now. No, I do appreciate you saying these. I mean, like, I have no idea how to do it. Honestly, big help. Like, I would have no idea how to do this without you here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do pull request one more time. We were only able to merge one. Re-added flood fill without the stupid master merge. What do we have here? Let's see. Let's go back. That one looks like it's still undergoing review. C++, Barnsley Fern code. Mika 314 has submitted before. Approximate counting C++ code. Again, they've also done stuff before. I'm just checking to see if there's any that have been approved that I haven't merged in yet. Review required. Review required. There's just a lot of these from a long time ago that we just never put up. Yeah. All of these are, so that one's a draft. All these have changes requested, review required. Oh man, some of these are by Gathros back in the day. I feel so bad. All these, like, we need to get these done. Let's see, what do we have? Oh man. I think the rest of these are just reviews required, so they aren't ready to put in. We have stuff from 2017. Which one did you review, Nick? By the way, I remember I remember seeing that review, but I don't remember which one it was. Deep in there. Yeah, which one was it though? Was it this one? Stack and Queue? Yep, that one. Yep. Okay, so let's do... The answer is no. We definitely don't. I don't think so. Maybe we should. To the... What is it? What is it called? We have a Wikipedia thing for all this kind of stuff. So Wikipedia here, and we go to Style Guide. Code Style Guide. Let's go here, Code Style Guide. Let's go ahead and... I'm just going to go ahead and add an approving review. Start review. And I'm going to say approve. If it looks good to... one second to at and Tyndall. I am happy to approve as well. Okay, the only other thing I think I have to do is check to make sure the line numbers are correct. But I think they are. So let's go to Files Changed. Yeah, I don't even think I have line numbers in there. Do I? Wait, how does this go into the... 1 second. Oh, okay. Yep. I do need to actually go in here, though. It's the conversation. Let's see. So these should be added. One final note. This isn't a chapter yet, dependent on... Oh. Algorithm archive? I thought I had something on stacks and queues in there. Here. Oh, yeah, just toss it in there. Yeah, we can do that. Chapter yet. Okay. Do I seriously? Let me go to the algorithm archive over here. CD projects, algorithm archive, ls here, CD contents, stacks, and queues, ls here. You're right, I don't have any code here. So what I need to do on my end is create an issue and say, add code for stacks and queues in Julia. Let's go here, or just add code for, well, maybe we could do it here. Let's just do the following. Let's go into vi .test/tree traversal, and let's see, how is this actually built up? I'm just going to create an issue for it. So I'm going to say new issue, feature request, code for stacks and queues. So feature request description. Right now there is no code. Right now there is no code for the stacks and queues section. Chapter. We should add that functionality. Okay, great. Let's see, any other reasons? Oh, we already have an approved TS TypeScript code. And let's just put that here. Am I able to 775? Nope. Okay, great. I'm just going to submit this issue and just make sure it's there. And JavaScript as well. Add computers, Jarvis March. Oh, it's the same PR. Yeah, okay, good. Well, as long as it's the same PR, I think that's fine. So what's the next one? So Jarvis March implementation in Scala. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge it now. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. I think I'm going to go ahead and merge it now with the assumption that we're going to knock into the other stuff. So I'll go ahead and merge this now. Then put the infrastructure in another PR. To solve issue, what are we on? Number 838, comment. There's a little sort flag at the top as recently updated flag that's useful. Right. So let's go ahead and put that in there. That way I have it ready to go and we're good to go. And then I'll just be sure to work on that. So I'm going to forget to work on that. So let me go ahead and do that now while we're here. Yeah, let's do that now. 771. Pull requests. 771. Adding some code for stacks and queues in Python. This one has been... has this one been approved? Was this one approved? Let's see. No, this one says there's still changes requested. So let's go ahead and add in the stuff, the infrastructure for the stacks and queues, and then go from there. 1 second, gotta check some stuff. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that now while I'm thinking about it, because otherwise I'm just gonna completely forget, because that's what I do. So we're gonna cd into projects, algorithm archive, git pull upstream master. Okay, and then, oh, I'm on a stupid branch. Git branch. Yeah, git checkout master. Now we have to do it again. Git stash. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing we just did. 1 second. And then we're gonna go over here and do quick ls there. Vi stacks and queues.md. And then we have code examples. Code examples are licensed under MIT, even though there are no code examples here. So right now we're just going to put all the code in there. So let's just go ahead and do begin and end method, content, tree traversal, tree traversal.md, and let's just grab like a method here. Like this is probably a stupid way to do it. I always forget the end method and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so we're just going to delete all these guys in here. And let's just go ahead and put in the infrastructure here, and then a separate PR would be the Julia PR. I think that's fair. Okay, so in here we're going to quit, and let's just go ahead and get the ls contents, stacks, and queues, code, TypeScript. Oh, they're both in TypeScript. Okay, so let's go here and let's do a sample. Lang equals TypeScript. Which one's TypeScript? Yeah, that's okay. TypeScript. Oh, do we not have TypeScript? Nope. grep-rl. script. Okay, yeah, of course, it's all in the node modules. That's not what I wanted. Control C, cd into contents. Okay, grep-rl IP script. Okay, so apparently, I swear we have TypeScript as a language, but apparently it's just not here for some reason. L is here. Let's go into vi book.json. TS. Yeah, that's fair. CD contents, grep, sorry, probably a tree. No, tree, tree.txt, vi tree.txt, sorry, look for .ts. Nope. Stacks and queues.ts. Wait, is that the only TypeScript we have? What? No way. What? I swear we had other TypeScript. Was that just in bubble sort? Maybe it was just in bubble sort. That's fair. Okay, let's go ahead and add it in then. So let's go into vi. Let's go to vi book.json. Let me look for IP. Okay. There's JavaScript in here, Scratch, Haskell. I guess I'll just add it in. I mean, these should be in alphabetical order, but they're definitely not. I guess I'm just going to put it in under as TS, maybe. So put it as TS, and we're going to do TypeScript. The sepal language is equal to TS. And then we just go ahead and put the code in here. Okay, so here's where I need to think about this a bit. So let's go into vi contents, tree traversal, tree traversal.md, move down here to the bottom. I think I said it was example code. Yeah, so usually it's under example code. Okay, and let me see what the TypeScript code actually does. So vi contents, stacks and queues, code, and then what do we have here? TypeScript, and then we have stack, and we have queue. Okay, what do we actually have here? In stacks, in queues, let's see. Okay, so here is a simple implementation of a stack. And then same thing down here. Here is a simple implementation of a queue. This isn't the best way to do it, but this is how I'm going to do it for now. Yeah, no, it's insane, right? It manipulates the array in the JavaScript to act as a queue and stack. Right. So let's do, we have book.json. Sure, let's just look there. And let's just do method, TypeScript. And let's import it. How does that work? Oh, I see how it works. I'm just dumb. So the language here is TypeScript. Oh, do we have that language defined? Is it defined in the highlighting tool? Let's see. So we import, and this should be under cool code TypeScript. Stack. I don't think it's highlight.js. I think it's, what are we doing? Algorithm archivists.github. Well, algorithm archivists GitHub. That'll do. We'll find it. We are using repositories. Plugin highlight from Gitbook. Okay. So test highlight.js. What languages are available here? How do we define a new language? But yeah, I guess highlight.js. If it uses highlight.js, what language do we have to say it uses? Does that make sense? Like, because we have to call it something, right? So like, we call Julia Julia or Python Python. So we have to call it something so it knows what to call it. Is it just TypeScript? Thanks. JS highlight. Let's see, what do we have here? I can also look it up. I'm being kind of helpless here, but I don't need to be helpless. How to use highlight.js? What languages? 1 second. Supported languages. What do we have? Supported languages here. And let's look up TypeScript. It's just TS. That'll work. Lang is equal to TS. Let's see if that actually runs. And it's going to be under, let's see, queue.ts and stack.js. TS. I think this will work. So if we do yank for yank and paste it down here as well, and we change this to queue. Write that. And now we do npm run serve. This should in principle work. Language TypeScript. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm an idiot, and I don't exactly know how. I think it's because I forgot to put that there and that there. Okay. Huh. that didn't build. Let's see. So you said language TypeScript. Let's go ahead and change that now. Language TypeScript down here as well. Language TypeScript. Let's go to the local host and see what we got. So it's going to be under stacks and queues. Should be down here. And right. Okay. Let's refresh it one more time and see if that worked. Example code. It doesn't seem to be highlighted, except that it's like coloring number for some reason. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be highlighting, if I'm honest. But I mean, it's there. It's fine. So if this is what it's supposed to highlight, I guess it's fine. I thought it was going to highlight like interface or something like that. Highlighting is wrong. Right. That's what I thought as well. Maybe we try just TypeScript. Oh, here it is. Okay, it was just TypeScript. Yeah, perfect. That's what I want to see. Great. Okay, let's go ahead and add this then. Good. Rank quit. Git checkout -b stack queue infrastructure. Okay. Git push origin stack queue infrastructure. Perfect. Okay, and then we should be able to go over here and add that pull request. Right. Algorithm archive. Should be new pull requests. Did I push it to the wrong thing? I guess it's fine. Where did I push it to? Origin. Okay. Let's just do pull requests. New pull request. And we're going to go from cross forks. Head repository Laos. Okay. And we're going to compare... What was it called? It was called stack queue. One second. Stack queue infrastructure. There's an... What do you mean there's nothing to compare? Did I do something dumb? Oh, I did do something dumb. Okay. Get status. I just didn't add anything. All right, we're going to do git add book.json. In fact, let me check the local host really quick. Here, and just make sure that stacks and queues. Yep, TypeScript is fine. Okay. Book.json, git add stacks and queues. I misspelled git before. Git commit -m. Adding stack and queue code infrastructure. Okay. Git push origin stack queue infrastructure here. Okay. And that should be that. Okay. So now we're going to go back over here, create the pull request, maybe F5 there. Okay, perfect. We had a TypeScript, and we have the example code there. We say language is there. I think this is fine. So let me add some comments. Create pull request. Okay, this fixes whatever the last number was, which should be where is the issue? All right, let's go back to issues. And the issue is code for stacks and queues, which is 838. 1 second, 838. Okay, let's create the pull request. And hopefully that automatically closes the pull request when merged. Okay, good. Let's go ahead and DD. Let's remove a bunch of things over here. Okay, so now the question is, do we go back to the web development, or do we say, screw it, I'm happy enough with what it is? Okay. I think that's good for the algorithm archive for the day. I think we spent like maybe 30 minutes on it, getting a couple pull requests merged. There's a few others. I think, Nick, I think that you just did a pull request for Computus. Let me see my email really quick. Oh, actually, right. So for Computus. Yeah, okay, good. Thank you for that. 1 second. And good. Review for Computus. Yeah, really appreciate that. Okay, so WebDev is going to be hard. Yeah, so maybe we just say, screw it. We aren't able to do it. It's done. We're not doing it anymore. Like, I think that's fine. I already told Grant that I tried doing it over the weekend and I couldn't find a solution. You know, I think we know how to do it. But I think it's going to take a lot of work. So I think maybe we just say, look, I'm happy with what we have. I think it's going to work. Let's not worry about it. And I think maybe that's what we do. Yeah, maybe that's what we do. Oh, it is a bit frustrating, but at the same time, like, I'm also concerned. I'm also a bit concerned about that as well. Which is why it's like, look, this model has been tested, and I think maybe we just leave it at that. Yeah, maybe we just leave it at that. Let me go over here really quick. Okay, I think this is, yeah, I think that's where we'll leave it. Okay. Good. Okay. I'm just going to say to Grant tomorrow, look, it's working. Let's just use it. It has published results. It's as tested as we can make it. It's meant for this purpose, kind of. So I think it's okay. So with that said, I think this is probably a good place to go ahead and close for the day then. Because if you look at the crowdbt.py, if you want to tell me, I want you to tell me how that works. That's insane. Yeah, so that was the thing. We looked at it just a second ago. Let's get here, close that terminal, and let's go over here. CD projects gavel. CD gavel. Vi crowd bt.py. Right. So this, I don't know how it works, if I'm being honest, but it's a mess, is what it is. Yeah. It's a mess. I don't think we actually need to update 96. Math. It's saying that, what is C1? Is the EXP of mu winner or EXP of mu winner? It's kind of like the ELO stuff we were talking about before, where we have C1 times alpha. I don't know, if I'm being honest. I really don't know. I wasn't intending to update it. So the author of the code did send me a message saying that the CrowdBT algorithm does allow for us to look up more than one person at a time. So in principle, we can make this change. But he didn't recommend it. They didn't recommend it. So I think maybe that's what we do. Maybe we say, look, like, the author of the code base didn't recommend it. Let's kind of do with what we have. We should look at this change for next year then. Right. I think this is something to look at for next year. We try it this year. If people are happy enough with it, we look at it for something to do next year. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to create an issue on my own GitHub repository. Gavel, this one. I'm just going to create an issue and say, how do I create an issue? Am I dumb? No, come on. And just write down the things that I think we need to do. Okay, it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to get you another GitHub. And then let's go to algorithm archive. Issues. No issues. You can't have forks, the gavel 2. That's gavel 2 on the asterisk one. Right, I see. Can I do projects? I can do project. Let's just go create project then. And we say, fixing for some 2. Okay. Let's just go list of things that need to be done. All right, and let's just do project template, none, create project. Okay, add column, and this is going to be to do. Then we're going to add a new column, which is going to be done. And look, I realize this is the dumbest board ever, but I don't really care. So let's just go here and just say done. Okay, so in here we're going to add some stuff. So we want to do judge with 5 at once instead of 2. And so to do this, we need to, 1, update. Where is it? It's over here. Oh, wait. Wait, what happened? Oh, non-dairy neutrino, what's up? How are you? Thank you so much for the raid. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We raided you as you ended. Oh, sorry about that. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. By the way, on Miwi, how are you? I hope you're also having a great day. I hope your stream went well. Non-dairy neutrino, I hope your stream went well. I hope everyone's having a wonderful time. So what are we doing today? Today, we are working on the Summer of Math exposition, which is basically a way to get people to make math content online. That's what we're trying to do. So we have a competition where the top 5 entries will get $1,000. And yeah, so right now we're working on the judging for that. Pablo Frag A24, thank you so much for following, really appreciate it. So in particular, we're working on the judging system, because if we have 1,000 entries, which we have about 1,200 entries or something like that, but I assume the 200 are not going to be judged, then we have to find a way to get all of these entries judged to find the top 10% so we can actually do the manual judging. And so the system that we're using right now is called Gavel. And basically we figured out how we could fix it, but it's a lot of work and we kind of have to have this finished by tomorrow. So we're going to leave a system that is currently working, but write notes for what we need to do to fix it in the future. So, so the first thing we need to do is update annotator to have a list of items instead of simply next and previous. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we need to update judge.py. Update, there's a function in judge.py. What do we have here? vi controllers judge.py, and let's see, there's like some sort of vote in here, isn't there? What is it? It's there's a function in here we need to fix, but I don't remember what that was supposed to be. Active annotator, right, so we need to fix the vote function. Vote in judge.py to accept a ranked list and fix 3. We need to do update. Let's see, what do we have here? There should be something down here. That's like something vote, perform vote. And perform vote. Wait, kind of attempting WebDev. It's not really that much. It's just enough, you know, that we, line 72? 72. Wait, line 72 and what? You'll need to, okay, right, we got that. We know we have to do that. By the way, done C76, thank you so much for following, really appreciate it. You need to render a template of vote.html with something that is not just previous and next. I'm not sure, right, so that's one thing we have to do. I haven't gotten into the vote.html changes yet, but that's, I'm going to add that in, probably word for word what you just wrote down. Okay, so then down here for perform vote, we need to modify this so that it will read in, oh no, what are we doing here? Oh yeah, so perform vote, vote, and then we also have to go down here and do 3, update perform vote in judge.py such that to also read in a ranked list and use crowd.bt underscore bt.update on each individual 1 second. Each individual competition, and I'm just going to put roughly 20 in the ranked list of 5. Okay, so now I think now we can attack what Nick was saying before. To answer your question, by the way, I'm doing well. Had a long stream and got to do some paperwork for now. Yeah, it sounds good. I hope you do well in the paperwork. Has a desk, stop using it. Has a standing desk, stops using it. Has floor. Where will he sit next? Vote now. He will sit on the windowsill. Right, so the reason I'm on the floor, just for the record, in case nobody knows, I'm currently moving from... Okay, so I moved from... I don't have a standing desk anymore. That was when I was in Okinawa last time. So then I moved to Boston, and then I moved from Boston to Alabama, and then I moved from Alabama back up to Boston, then I moved from Boston back down to Alabama. Now I'm back in Okinawa at my wife's apartment where I am... there's just no room. It's like a 1-bedroom apartment. There's just no room to sit anywhere. Literally, this is the only place I could sit. So that's it. This is where I'm sitting because that's all I have. Anmingwee, thank you so much for following. Really appreciate it. And now I will be moving to Barcelona in like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So yeah. What kind of web dev are you doing? Well, we're trying to update a simple voting mechanism to use for the Summer of Math exposition, but it didn't. We didn't get very far. Sorry about that. Okay, so now we have to do what Nick says, and so let's go to vote.html, VI, and we need to do simple vote, a voting mechanism. I said it was simple because the physicist in me says everything is simple. So we're going to go into templates, and then vote.html, line 72. Wait, where was line 72? Line 72 was in judge.py? VI controllers, judge.py, line 72. 74, I think is what we wanted. Okay, so modify app.root render. I'm just going to grab this and just put it in there immediately. I am trained as a physicist, yes. Oh no. Oh, this is going to suck. Okay, 1 second. I do both physics and computation, so computational physics. But yeah, so my primary work is in GPU, which is general purpose graphics processing unit computation. That's what I primarily do. But today I'm trying to get some voting and stuff working. So that's why I'm doing a little bit of web dev. Here, there. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you deleted a line you need. No, I didn't. Did I? 1 second. Like return. You are correct. Thank you. Paste. Okay, hopefully this is fine. Got it. Thank you so much. Okay, so now the next thing we need to do is modify vote.html. Modify vote.html. And this is what you were saying before. Let me see if I have it up here. It should be page up, isn't it? Yeah. It was here. So render template on line 72. You'll need to modify the app.route to render template of vote.html with something that is not just previous and next. Oh, no, this is the same thing you were saying before. Perfect. It'll be like this for item and list. Right. So we need something like this to allow for a ranked list, maybe using JavaScript to move the items around. Okay. And then the next thing is 6. Modify 1 second vote.html to no JavaScript needed, you say. But how do we get the list to be kind of like, you know, how do we get them to order the list in the end? Don't we need the JavaScript to have them like to create the UI element to move things around? Or am I just overcomplicating it? Something like this. and there. Okay, so I think those are all the changes that we listed that need to be done. I think that's what we have. There might be more to it, but I think that's it. Oh, somehow this stream has exhausted me more than anything else I've done in a long time. Oh man, WebDev. It wasn't even WebDev. We didn't do any actual WebDev. It was just enough to get me very tired. Let me get a little bit of water. Okay, but I think these are all the changes that we mentioned. So let me go ahead and add that. And right. I probably should have created them as 5 different items. But that's okay. The point is that we put them down somewhere and we said that's fine. You wouldn't have to know anything about Big O notation and solving for it. I know a bit about Big O. I mean, what do you need? What's your question? Yeah. So let me get some water. I mean, like, yeah, I obviously, big O, little o, omega, theta, whatever you want, I know about all these things. Okay. I'm just going to leave it at that for the beta test for Gavel. I think I'm happy enough saying that, we have a working system. I realize we didn't do too much on today's stream in terms of like fixing this, but look, we gave it a shot. We know what needs to be done. And so what I might do is just link this project to Grant and say, these are the things that, we've identified that need to be done for this to happen. One last thing. Yep. I'll go ahead and write that down as well. Oh, man, I'm tired. Jeez, am I tired. I was thinking about moving on to doing some actual research streams after this, like just to talk about some research and stuff like that, which I might still do, but I'm not quite sure just yet. Let me know what you guys are interested in. I've been trying for months to understand it. I went through books and tutorials and other resources. Sorry, but I don't understand how to solve for it. Perfect. What in particular are you trying to solve for? Like what, in terms of the Big O notation, what, yeah, like, is there a particular function that you're trying to figure out, or like, do you have some code that you're looking at or something like that? So update statics to have styles that reflect the appropriate states. Yep, that's true. That's definitely true. Yep. I want more Guild Wars. I don't know if I want to play more Guild Wars right now. I mean, I could, I guess, but I don't know if I really want to or not. But yeah, Big O really depends on like what your, like, it really depends on the code that you're looking at, right? So it's kind of hard to be like, here's a general thing, I get the concept, just don't know how to. I'm not asking, right? Okay, so like, for example, if you have a for loop in code, right? And the question is, how does that scale? Well, you know that the for loop scales as, as the number, well, not for loop so much. Anyway, but you're just asking how it scales over time, right? So, if you have a for loop, you're like, okay, well, in general, this is going to scale as n, right? Because it's just going to increase that way. If you have, I used to be way better at this than I am now. It's been a long time since I had to do Big O stuff. But like, if you've got, do I have a chapter in the algorithm markup for this? I'm not actually sure if I do. I should. I think, no, I have something very briefly mentioning it, but I'm not doing this isn't really a good time. Like, it's not a good explanation of it. It just kind of explains like what the different code is that you can look at, for Big O notation and stuff like that. Oh, I think when I mean solve, I mean check to see whether an equation is Big O or not. So that, I don't fully know what you're saying. Usually what I do is I look at code and I'm like, okay, how will this code scale? And then, if it scales as log n or something like that, that's what it's just asking, if you have, all equations have a Big O notation. Some of them just are hard to calculate. That's true as well. Yeah, I knew what you meant. Like, there's a lot of physics algorithms and stuff like that that people type all the time. but they never show a big O notation, and they just give performance benchmarks. And performance benchmarks are in some ways better than big O notation for a lot of reasons, right? I mean, big O notation kind of describes how the algorithm is going to scale. And in my opinion, big O notation is really useful when you only have a theoretical approach for the algorithm. You don't have something that's actually an implementation. But if you do have an implementation, I think benchmarks are the better way to go, because if you have benchmarks, you know exactly how fast it runs on some hardware, and you can generally assume if the hardware is 2 times faster, you know, the code will run 2 times faster as well. Like, you can use that. In my opinion, benchmarks are better for that. But if you don't have an actual implementation of the algorithm and it's just in pseudocode, that's when you want to use big O notation, in my mind. So but you generally also, the reason big O notation is useful is because if you're just writing code and you're wondering, well, okay, if I use this code in production, and in production has millions of units that we have to account for, you know, how fast will this run? And, you know, if you have like something that grows up in polynomial time, i.e. 2 for loops, then, you know that this is going to be, it's going to scale like more poorly than, you know, some of this stuff, you know? So that's kind of, I don't know, that's kind of how I look at it. I just want to understand how to look at an equation or a block of code and whether it's big O or not. Okay, big O. Okay, so 2 questions here. The first is Sir Marks, which I'll answer first, and then static I'll answer second. So journal, new page 4. Big O notation will always be like n log n or something like that. It's always like, you know, or maybe it'll be like a scripty O is equal to this or something. It always specifies this, right? So if you look at an equation and it's like O is equal to n, n log n squared log n, something like that, then that's how you know the equation is big O, right? But the main thing is that like what Nick says, all code has some sort of big O notation. And big O is like so there's like big O notation, there's a little o notation, there's theta notation, and all of this kind of stuff, right? And these are just like, you know, run statistics. Like, so big O is the worst case running condition. And so it's just like, usually you don't look at an equation and you ask, is this big O or not? Usually you're looking at code and you're asking, what is the big O notation for it? So it's not so much, is this big O, is this not big O? It's everything has a big O notation. And what is that big O notation? So, for example, something that scales as n is going to be 4i equals 1 to n. Something that scales as n squared is 4i equals 1 to n, 4j equals 1 to n, right? So because there's 2 for loops, it scales as n squared, right? And so essentially what you're asking is, as you go forward, I don't know, I'm doing a very bad job of describing this, but as you go forward, and as n increases, how does the runtime also increase? So what you're ultimately looking for is a plot of n on the bottom, and I guess time over here, and you're asking, you know, how long, if n is small, you know, how long does it take to run? If n is large, how long does it take to run? And what does a plot look like to go from point A to point B? You know, so essentially, if you look at an equation and you see it's like n log n, so there's n's in there and there's m's in there, there's l's in there, but they don't actually like define what n, m, and l are, then it's probably some sort of big O notation or something like that. This is going to be one of those things that I don't know if I can actually help you with here on stream. It might be something that, like, you know, it just, if you sit back and you think about it for a bit, like, don't even think about it. Just completely remove it from your mind and don't think about it for like a week or 2, and then come back to it. And then when you come back to it, I think it'll click. Yeah. So I also have a page in the algorithm archive for big O notation as well. I'm not saying it's the best chapter, but it's there. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is kind of similar to what I did in the algorithm archive. So, anyway. Okay. It's okay. I'm sorry, man. I don't really know how to help. I said man, I don't know your gender, but it's one of those things that's kind of hard because like people come about it in different ways, you know? I think you will. I think it's just a matter of like just taking a step back from it. It's not just okay, so the question is, how do things scale as you get bigger, right? And I know you already know that, but the question is, like, how do you define how it scales? And that's what Big O is trying to. It's just asking, if we increase the number of elements, is this going to run faster or slower? And the easiest way to determine that is just look at the code, see how many for loops you need to solve the code, see how many factorials you need, see how many recursive steps you have, all that kind of stuff. So non-dairy neutrino, I'm going to come back to your question just a second ago about the PhD. Gonna sudo raid and run because got work in the morning, but I'm excited for someone. I'm myself trying to explain the Fourier transform via baking. Oh, super cool. And glad we'll see you doing well. Have a good rest of the stream and see you around. Yeah, see you around. Thank you so much for coming in. Also, thanks for streaming. I appreciate that. And thanks for the raid. Experience in it helps a lot. Having people review your code and evaluation of Big O. Yeah, that's true as well. Definitely, 100%. Okay. There's a question that was asked a second ago by Static, and I just didn't answer it because I don't know why. I just didn't answer it. And the question is, what was my PhD in? This has come up twice on stream, so I'm just going to mention it. So PhD. So my PhD was in the calculation of quantum states. Well, okay, the calculation of quantum states via GPU. So it's quantum systems plus graphics processing units. That was my PhD. So my primary skill set is in computational physics. And that's what I focus on, right? So I focus on like highly parallel things like this. So that's my thing. I in general nowadays kind of have trended away from physics and focus more on just computation in general, computational science, this type of stuff. But that's what my PhD was in. The references on it are great. The simple wiki pages are useful for complicated topics. When you feel like you have it down, read. Right. Yep. Thanks, Nick. By the way, Nick, thank you so much for all the help for today's stream. Like, it's been genuinely super helpful. And I just want to say thanks, just because, sometimes I'll say things and I'll sound like I'm being very like rude or condescending, and I don't mean that. What I mean is that I'm actually very grateful for the help here. Okay, so I think this will wrap up the WebDev part of today's stream, and I think I might go ahead and call it a close for now. And the reason I want to close it is just because I'm exhausted right now. So I'm going to take a break, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to what we did at the start of stream and kind of figure out what the order is of the projects that we need to get done, and kind of create an ordered list of basically everything that needs to do, everything that we need to do to get some really big projects out of the way. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to like figure out what to tackle next, and then we're going to do that. Yeah, that's that. Okay, let's see who's live on Twitch and who we might want to raid at the end of stream. No one that I'm following is live on Twitch. Let's see who's live on Science and Tech. If there's anybody that you want to raid at the end of stream, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, I might just call it. Let's see. Indie Tales, Peck Scratch. Let's see, what do we have here? I don't know any of these people at all. So how about we let you guys just decide who you want to go to? And I'll just go ahead and close it for today. I need to do better about raiding people. I don't know who to raid. So I'm going to go for now. Thank you guys so much for coming in. Have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever time it happens to be your time. And I'll see you guys around next time for the next episode of Simuleos, which will be tomorrow, hopefully. Hopefully. And will hopefully be for a bit longer than today's stream. And we'll just kind of do another unapologetic research stream and really just kind of start hammering out the details here. I'm really excited for it, and I hope to see you guys around. Thanks again, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.